My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Jakey boy and I are going to break down the entire UFC Vegas 102 fight card. We're going to give you our picks, our predictions, our bets, and our DraftKings plays. What shirt is that?
What the fuck?
I can't tell. It's little. Oh, that's Youssef's shirt? There you go. All right. I can't tell. It's all little. He's little. That's life size. Before we break down this card, let's talk about the latest and greatest. We built a fight simulator, and I'm front-loading it into the promo because this thing is crushing. First of all, what it does is it takes the fights, it pulls in all sorts of data like the implied probability. It takes in all sorts of data like historical fight records.
If the helicopter pilot that
Jacob's back
that crashed into that plane was actually at Fight Simulator thinking it was a flight simulator.
I mean, it could be.
That's why.
So he slammed into that plane, and when he slammed into that plane, he had winning DraftKings lineups. Because that's what this thing does. It takes historical data. It takes biometrics, striking stats, grappling stats. It simulates the fights 100,000 times, and then it spits out the results, and then you could turn those results into bets. Or DraftKings fantasy lineups. This thing has only existed for 2 events. This is the last event. Jeffrey says, first time using the event simulator. I only used it in a few... if I had only used it in the larger contest. Thanks for all the great content. Dude made $790 freaking dollars. This was the week before. Have I what?
Ever done a Jeffrey? You know
what's a Jeffrey? Is? Oh, dude, I'll play this game all the back of that wrestling bus. I know all the things. 2 dogs in a bathtub, a chili dog, a hot Carl, Cleveland steamer. What is a Jeffrey?
Now say what you just said again and a little bit slower, maybe?
2 dogs in a bathtub. It's too early in the video to be doing this stuff. YouTube's not going to like it. 2 dogs in a bathtub is when you've entered the anus. And then you try to put a testy in there. And you can squeeze one testy in, but we try to put the other testy in. The first one pops out. Like if you try to get 2 dogs into a bathtub at the same time. As soon as you get one in, the other one's out.
So Jeffrey's like a joint, and it's it's from Get Him to the Greek. He gives him, he's like, you want to smoke a Jeffrey? And gives him a Jeffrey, but it's laced with like all sorts of shit. And he's like, why is it called a Jeffrey? He's like, because Jeffrey's like not an intimidating name. Who would Jeffrey's just the bloke down the street. And he makes him pet the furry wall and stuff like that. So it's not what I thought we were getting into. My bad. I got a whole bunch of those. But guys, in all seriousness, Fight Simulator is the latest edition of Premium. It quite literally is one of the greatest things we've ever released. There's another product out there that's somewhat similar. It costs $295 a month. It's called SaberSim. Go look it up yourself. $295 a month. Our Fight Simulator is included in the $10 a month membership. You're also going to get DraftKings ownership projections if you care about that thing. And if you do care about that thing, we have the best in the world. Here's the results from UFC 312. You also have the data analyzer. A lot of you love watching these videos. Say, guys, I'm going to do my own research. Great. Do your own research. And you can use the tools to do the research. Do you value your time? Jacob, what do you think you make an hour? Excuse me?
Yeah, I don't know how I was trying to word that, but essentially, for $10 an entire month, you can save yourself many hours of Googling fights, trying to find data and information because the data analyzer does all that for you, and you can watch the fights yourselves. Not $10 an hour, $10 a month. See?
I don't make $10 an hour. Say that.
Well, it's just $10 an entire month.
But these two do.
Did you see? All right, so guys, become a premium member. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. Literally the greatest offering in the world. It's not even remotely close. There's random people selling random Patreons.
Did you request him doing that in that photo?
I was going to tell. No, he sent me a message like a month ago, and he's like, "Can Jacob take a joke?" And I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "I'm going to get a shirt made with the what lock of the week was it?" It was a lock of the week specifically.
What kind of dumbass question did you just ask me? What lock of the week was it? Like, I know what the fuck you're talking about.
Bet Sam has a shirt of your failed lock of the week on the front and your face on the back.
No,
but I forget which lock. Oh, that's what he wore. He was at UFC 312, and that's what he wore.
Oh, well, how am I supposed to know that?
I thought that's what you were just bringing up right now.
No, it's just a weird face.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, did you request he wear that shirt at UFC? Not did you make... No, I said, Sam, send me a nice picture so I can put it on a slide. And then he screamed at himself like this. that was, you know, he's holding the phone with his other hand. My favorite thing on Instagram right now is like the number one comment on some of these like videos are, you took your phone out and recorded this, reviewed it, and then thought you got it and uploaded it. Just like making fun of people for the process on these like cringy videos. I love it.
Yeah, I'm not going to make fun of people for being creative. You know,
no, it's
themselves
not
out there. You know, they're trying to do their best. Maybe it's their first video. I mean, I remember the first time you ever did commentary, Angela. If you look back on that now, but, welcome to We Want Picks.
No, that's
and we're gonna break down this fight.
First of all,
and I've always been smooth with it.
Those comments are only under the fake emotional videos, not creative content. It's under like a woman recorded herself crying over God knows what. It's like, wait, you stopped crying to prop this up.
I literally did that like last year when I was like thanking people for everything on this very channel. And so you're just making fun of me for that?
Didn't you start getting choked up while you were talking? That's different than sitting in a corner sobbing and then getting out a tripod.
That is a little bit different, yeah.
Yeah, very different. Getting choked up while you're talking is not a prepared fake cry. Anyway, premium membership, you're going to get the tools. We talk about an artificial intelligence. We talk about the event simulator. We talk about the data analyzer that has a full tape index in it. Talk about the DraftKings ownership projections. We have underdog fantasy picks, prize picks. We have bets. We have
what
picks,
I just thought about?
Round line leans. What?
It's because somebody put it in the chat. No stash, the freckled Salamendov or whatever. That's like the new trend on TikTok. I don't know if you see it on TikTok, but people are.
I don't have to. I deleted it like an idiot, and I can't download it.
Yikes! It does suck. But people have the Dagestan, like Dagestan, the song that like Khabib comes out to, and it's people with like beards like this. And it's them just shaving the mustache and just leaving like the Dagestani beard. And so somebody said I should do that. I thought I'll do that. We need to have like a certain, if we get this much whatever or this much whatever.
Yeah, you'll
like
just have the
a certain
beard.
Goal point that once it hits, I'll shave this and I'll rock the Dagestani red beard.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
that is so funny. Just that red beard, no stash. Love it. Yeah,
because literally some people do it on TikTok and it's like, holy shit, they look good like that. Like it's such a random thing. No, I promise. I'll show you guys right now where he did it and it's like, oh shit, that's actually a pretty good look.
I mean, it's obviously some sort of religious thing, but I wonder what the meaning is behind. You need facial hair, just not.
It could just
right
need a whole
there.
bunch of pussy.
This guy says you can get TikTok back if you go back to your app history. No, you cannot. And if you can, walk me through step by step. But it's banned, and you have to go into your account and change your country. Then you can do it. All right. Well, while you look that up, everybody else should be going to WeWantPicks.com and click Become a Member. It's freaking $10. It's quite literally, if you could find me anybody that offers something better for anywhere near the same price, I'll give you membership for free. And I've offered that before, and somebody sent me a message. I'm not going to say her name. Sent me a message like, this person has good stuff. Yeah. And she emails me and said, this person has good stuff. The guy only had a few bets. And the last time he had posted bets was 2 months earlier. And he basically said, this is too hard. I'm done. He quit. So it's like that. But he was $7.99 instead of $10. Meanwhile, we got all the shit. And it's not just me and Jakey Boy. We had the others on that slide. We also have an app. Every single thing we do is inside of an app. It's also on the web. You can just search We Want Picks in the App Store, download the app. You instantly have access to every single pick bet tool and push notifications. Jakey Boy tipped me off to an incredible bet on the co-main event. I placed the bet. I pushed the app notification. That bet is now minus 200. I got it minus 115. And that's why the notifications matter. Search We Want Picks in the App Store. And finally, we are in the thralls of a 16-event stretch. If you sign up to become a premium member today is February 11th. You will have full access to March 11th. So that gets you...
minus 325 now.
Jesus.
I said on Twitter it should be 350, and there it is.
Especially because there's a refund option. I'll tell you guys the bet when we get to it. You have this event, the Cannonier versus Rodrigues event. Then you have next week, which actually is not the correct. Next week is Henry Cejudo. Then you have the Manel Kopp main event. And then you have UFC 313. So if you sign up today, you get full access to every single thing we do for an entire month. And that will include UFC 313. It's freaking $10 for an entire month. $10. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. Watch the vlog. I watched, this is one of the better vlogs I've had. It was well edited. It was smooth. You get to see my live visceral reaction to Kevin Gisay blowing it. I left. We were at a bar. We're with the family. We're with a couple other families having a few drinks, hanging out. I said, I got to go to the car and film my reaction. I go to the car. I'm sitting in the car just recording myself, watch that fight. And a lot of people who only see me like in this, always positive and upbeat, and see the other vlogs, positive and upbeat. That is very raw. You're getting raw, like visceral hate.
You like that, huh?
And you're going to see it live.
Raw live.
So check out the vlog. Here's the thumbnail. And in the vlogs, we do a mail day. Thomas Rinker sent us a ticket and a nice letter. If you want to send a letter or anything else, the address is We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas, 75078. Send it. We'll read it. We'll do all the things. Jakey boy, anything for the people before we jump into the first fight?
Yeah, let me just address kind of what's been going on lately with me, because I know there's been some questions, there's been some comments. I deleted Discord like 3 weeks ago. So if you've been sending me messages or comments on there, I have not seen them, but I have gotten some messages on Instagram, just hoping that I'm well and stuff. And I appreciate that. I know like the vast majority, 99.9% of you are just normal people that treat people like normal people. So I do appreciate all the support. I just want to, the last, I don't know how long it's been now, a month, maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. Been in a little bit of a funk, and I want to be always honest and truthful with you guys. Ever since I've known Angelo, he's found me sexually attractive. And
I was like, he's going to be serious.
No, excuse me. I want to be, and Angelo was going to act like it's a joke, but he's found me sexually attractive, and he's always kind of suggested, like, man, I bet if you were a woman, you would be, I bet if you were a woman, you would just be one of a kind. And we always kind of joked about it, like, what if I was a woman? What if I was this? Or what if I was that? The last couple of years. And, it finally got to a point where it was like, maybe I should become a woman. And Angelo was obviously very supportive, because I think he was, he told me about the fantasies and all this type of stuff. So the last 8 weeks, whatever it is, I have been on hormones. Angelo has been paying for me to do hormonal therapy to start my transition to a female. And, as luck has it, Donald Trump saved my life. He kind of defunded all of the transitional type payments and stuff like that. So the last couple weeks I haven't been on the hormones, and I've been starting to kind of get back to myself. So I appreciate all the support lately, and we're getting back after it. We feel better.
I was like, this will be let's hear. This will be interesting. It took a turn.
But seriously, I have been in a funk lately, and there have been some people that reached out, and I do appreciate it. I haven't been looking at any YouTube comments on any videos, or I haven't been in Discord or anything. Just kind of doing my own thing. Angelo knows better than anybody when I go through some lows, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, you pussy" and stuff like that, and that's fine. You can think that, but everyone knows that everyone has some bad times. I think that last year was one of the best years of my life. I mean, the highs that I had last year were astronomical with the channel, in life, everything. And I think when I hit a normal low that normally you can kind of deal with it, it really just felt fucking a lot lower than normal, because I've been riding highs all year that I hit this low, and it just felt so fucking deep the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks, however long it's been. And I just kind of shut down when that happens. Like I said, Angelo knows better than anybody, and I kind of got to dig myself out, and I think we're starting to dig ourselves out. And just everyone feels like shit sometimes, and sometimes you just got to deal with it on your own. People are going to help out, and they mean well. But honestly, I think sometimes you just kind of got to fucking deal with it on your own and climb out on your own, and you're better for it. So I got some tattoos. I isolated myself, and now we're here. So
yeah, well, listen, I'm always here for you. You know that. And then I when you get in your stuff, sometimes it's clean, meaning like, all right, Jacob's in a funk, he'll be okay. Other times it's like, it's not as clean because you and I will bicker about some dumb shit. Then you hit a funk, and then I am like, did I do this? Did I do that?
Yeah, and Lily, there really isn't really any call. I mean, you just kind of start going down that slope.
Yeah, you're just in a mood, and then it
then you
stings.
spiral a little bit. It has nothing to do with gambling. Has nothing to do with the channel. Has nothing to do with Angelo or anything like that.
Long before we had this channel, yeah.
Yeah, you just go through ups and downs. And honestly, it just my highs were so high last year that just kind of a normal low just felt like it was like, oh my God. Like instead of like looking up on a hill, I'm looking up on this mountain that I used to be on top of. So it just feels a little bit overwhelming. But so if you're going through some stuff, listen, I fucking get it, and I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you being here and being honest with the people, because I don't say shit. Like, you know, people are like, Angelo gave him AIDS. It's like, he's got AIDS. It's like, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, man. It's not my business. I'm not telling anybody's business. We do have a $10 super chat from Unallowed. Yo, Jakey boy, I parlayed the takedown bets last week, and I'm up. Big Ange, keep up the grind. Also, drop some WWP hats. You know what's funny? First of all, thank you for the $10 super chat. Branded bills. I have a whole design on hats, and I just got to pull the trigger on ordering them. They make you order like fucking $1,000 worth at a time, which is quite the commitment. But
yeah, you mentioned the takedown as well. I mean, people want to give me shit for the Francisco Prado pick, but premium members on that fight were up because I bet I had over a half a unit. Or over a half a takedown at plus 500, which I thought was crazy. And sure enough, Prado came through. So on that fight, I was up even for premium members. But yeah.
There you go. All right, let's jump into this card. Somebody commented, and try to Google it if you can. I didn't see it, that they're doing Usman versus Prates in Dallas in April. Obviously, if that's the case, we're going to go and we'll do a whole big thing. But I was looking on Twitter and I didn't see it. So I don't know if that's true or trolling or what, but if that's true, you can expect something from us in Dallas in April for that event. The fight order is incorrect. I recognize that. I built out this whole deck about an hour and a half ago before they finalized the deck or the card. But we're going to open this up with Gabriel Bonfim taking on Khaos Williams. And this is going to be a really fun fight, and it's going to be an interesting fight. There are two Bonfim brothers on this card, and both of them are in much tougher fights than their odds will indicate. Gabriel Bonfim, 16-1 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that bounce-back win and his first ever career decision. And he's taking on the always tough Khaos Williams, 15-3 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off the first-round knockout win. Gabriel Bonfim, we all know by now, both Bonfim brothers are basically the same. One's just a little more aggressive than the other. Gabriel's a solid striker. He's got high-level boxing, good credentials in boxing, solid BJJ, well-rounded guy. He is the more patient of the brothers. But he's still only been to one decision in 17 fights. He looks to strike early. He'll transition to wrestling if the striking's not going his way. If it gets to the ground, he's very methodical with his jiu-jitsu. He's not chasing, sliding off, doing crazy things like that. And I mentioned he's coming off his first ever decision win or loss, and that's over Ange Losa, where he doubled the strike and he got taken down 4 times. He's taking on Khaos Williams. Khaos Williams, always fun to watch. Never in a boring fight. He's going to walk you down. Tons of power. Great low kicks. He uses the low kicks to take out your legs, and then he's coming up top to the head. He's durable. He's always live for a knockout. And he's coming off that early knockout win over Carlston Harris, who we did also just see get knocked out. Jacob and I saw that live. This is a great fight. It should be.
Really?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. It was a nice night.
What fight was that?
First fight of the year, UFC Vegas 101.
No, what was his fight? Who did he get knocked out by? Can't remember.
The handsome Spanish commentator there.
Oh,
Ponzinibbio.
yeah, because that was...
It was bad. He was beating Ponzinibbio, and then boop, bad. This is a good fight. Should be fireworks. Has a recipe for a war or a one-sided beatings. But no matter what, this will be fun. Gabriel is the 2-1 favorite. And I am surprised because, yes, he's the more well-rounded, right? He's got better offensive wrestling. His technical boxing might be cleaner, but he doesn't have anywhere near the power that Khaos has. Khaos is also very durable. He's not a guy you're just going to blitz and get out of there super early. I'm expecting Gabriel to come out with a wrestle-heavy game plan, but in order to execute that, he's going to need plenty of cardio, which has been questioned in the past. Khaos has good takedown defense. He can definitely make this a dogfight. I'm still going to lean Bonfim just ever so slightly because he's more well-rounded, but these odds are long gone. Not touching him. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I'm actually going with the dog to start here because if Bonfim can't kind of rely on the wrestling and he's not going to have necessarily like a power advantage in the fight to have big moments, and he's kind of got to back off the activity, because I think that's what wins this fight. From whoever is the more active fighter is probably going to win this fight. What I worry about on the Khaos side is that he kind of is looking for those one-hitter quitters too much, because I don't know if those big moments are going to be there against a guy like Gabriel Bonfim. If you're just kind of winging on those shots and missing and not having enough volume, you're going to end up losing this decision. I don't know if Gabriel's going to be able to go to the wrestling against a guy like Khaos. Like you said, if he forces the wrestling, it could be issues in the second and the third round, because Khaos is a very durable guy, good takedown defense with his power as well. So without the wrestling, without him being able to match the activity of Khaos, because he's going to be a little bit worried about the power, because Khaos does have really big power, and he doesn't really need to overswing with the power, which is really nice. It's those nice tight shots, end of the punch type stuff. It's not big overhand rights, just in normal combination. So with Gabriel kind of backing up, Khaos controlling the pace, even though he may rely on those right hands a little bit too much, I think the pressure and the activity is going to be enough to kind of squeak out the decision. Or if Gabriel fucks around, he could get knocked out. I mean, anybody can get knocked out by this guy. So I'm going Khaos with the underdog pick here. I just think that his power, I think Gabriel's going to have enough respect to not be able to get the volume needed to match the pressure from Khaos. Therefore, I think Khaos is going to win.
Yeah, it should be a really fun fight. I mean, you pick Khaos, so I'm not going to ask you if you're worried about Bonfim's cardio. But you're not worried about Bonfim's just ability to mix it up?
No, I don't think he's going to force the wrestling, because he's going to be scared to enter on a guy like Khaos, who's just kind of be sitting on those big shots.
Yeah.
So I think he just kind of falls behind, and by the time he tries to get going, Khaos gets kind of those flow states as well, where he's just kind of walking people down and looking really good with those powerful shots. So it's definitely not a little bit of fly. I haven't bet Khaos, but as a pick, I'll take him.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet this fight outright, but the only bet I looked at and considered was Khaos Williams inside the distance decision, no action, because he is a tough guy, a durable guy. He's not somebody you just get out of there. And this way, if Gabriel does mix in some wrestling or the boxing's just a little cleaner and he takes a decision like he did in his last fight, I'll get a full refund, but Khaos is Khaos. So if he could, Gabriel gasses out.
And I pray to God Khaos doesn't come in with a wrestle game plan for whatever reason. Just because you saw Gabriel get taken down by Ange, and I know Khaos can wrestle a little bit. Obviously, he doesn't really shoot takedowns, but because, Gabriel, he snatches up those guillotines fucking quick.
He's got good jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he almost got a couple on Ange. You can see he gets real aggressive with those too. So you can't even a clinch, you can't not duck your head in a clinch, because he will literally jump up onto your neck. So
yeah, it'll be this will be a really fun fight. It should be fireworks, and we'll see what the prop bets say when we get them later in the week when they add the takedown, because maybe we do get some lucky lines like we did last week. $8,900 in DraftKings Fit. Were you watching television full volume? What the hell was that?
But I think I see a lot of lawbreakers up in this house.
Why are we listening to? What is that?
That's Magic Mike. That's Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, that was Magic Mike? All right. I knew it was McConaughey.
I think we got some lawmakers here tonight.
All right. While Jacob watches Magic Mike on his phone, you can go to WeWantPicks.com and unlock every single thing that we do. The picks, the bets, the tools, everything. It is by far the greatest value you will ever find in this space. Period. End of story. It's freaking $10 for an entire month. That will include DraftKings Fantasy, $8,900 for Bonfim, $73 for Khaos. I'm not going to play Bonfim at $8,900. While I do think he wins, I don't think he's not going to finish Khaos. I don't think. Khaos is a very durable guy. So then we're just relying on maybe a wrestle-heavy game plan or just volume strikes, which won't necessarily cover that salary. Before we jump to the next fight, this is who has been insisting there's a Dallas card. Do me a favor, comment where you're seeing that because it's not on Twitter. And Twitter usually has everything. We have
I saw it on Facebook.
That's Facebook is the
I
worst
saw it
place.
on Facebook. I saw it on the book.
We have Bet Slam with Dan, who has no actual affiliation with Bet Slam whatsoever, just to be clear, said Mason Jones resigned to UFC, re-signed, no dash, re-signed to UFC. He's about to be Zalal 2.0. Thank you for the super chat.
He was the worst.
He was
victim.
good.
He was the victim of the worst
Biggest
lock
underdog
of the week
lock ever.
Of all time. Ludovic Klein plus 375 against Mason Jones.
Biggest underdog lock ever for you. You mentioned on the Facebook, real quick before I move on. If you watch the vlog, I put up a whole shit ton of TVs in the media room, Jakey boy. Next time you come, you'll see. And in the vlog, I sort of time-lapsed those TVs going up, and I just talked about that process. My goal for that, so it's 5 TVs above the main TV, right? Horizontally. My goal is to, you know how when you're in the arena and they have that screen that wraps around like this, and it's like their eyes and the names and the flags? That's my goal, is to figure out how to do that in the media room while we're watching fights. So I am in a Facebook group.
What if they put their feet up there?
And then everybody's going to watch the fights with boners? It's uncomfortable. Like when Tosh would make everybody take a Viagra.
Are you uncomfortable to get a boner?
Yeah. It physically hurts and I get faint because it's so big. The amount of blood that needs to go there, even an enlarged heart has a hard time keeping up.
Get hard right now. Let's see the press. Get hard right now. Let's see the press on the jeans. You got sweatpants on?
How funny. You see me like, and then the color leaves my face and just under the table. Anyway, so I go to this Facebook group. It's about home theaters. I go to the Facebook group and I say, hey, all.
No, it's just Facebook.
Oh, but it's a group in Facebook. Oh, I went on the line and opened up the Facebook.
The what? On the line. You put the picture on the line.
So I posted a picture of it and I said, this is what I'm looking to do.
That's Instagram.
Yes. I said, this is what I'm looking to do. My own real experience with social media is this and the random hate that comes from MMA fans and YouTube, right? And there's plenty of it. Jacob misses an underdog lock of the week. You're a loser. I miss a safety parlay. You're a fat loser. Like, I get it. I see all the hate, whatever. I thought, a Facebook group dedicated to people helping each other with home theater groups would be any better. So I just post that and I just write, hey, this is what I did. This is what I'm looking to do. 80% of the comments are like, ugliest shit I've ever seen. What in the hell is this trash? Loser. Nice troll job. It's like, my God, dude, none of these platforms are immune to random internet dweebs. I called some guy a dweeb, and he was like, I'm not a dweeb. It's like, you're the one who chose to come here and comment some shit. Dweeb activity. Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we have Angela Hill taking on Ketlen Souza. This has had a dramatic amount of line movement. Minus 300 to dead even on the Angela Hill side. She is 17-14 in her career, 3-2 in her last 5. She's coming off that decision loss to Tabitha Ricci. Taking on Ketlen Souza, 15-4 in her career, 4-1 in her last 5. She's riding a 2-fight win streak. Angela Hill, we all know by now, very high IQ fighter. She's not going to go out there and just do dumb Kevin Gisette shit. She's going to go out there and fight to the best of her abilities and put herself in the best opportunity to win. For her, that typically involves dancing around, being fast, having clean striking. There's not a lot of power there. She will occasionally turn into a Nurmagomedov, but it all comes down to the matchup. Because again, she's high fight IQ. She's coming off that loss to Tabitha Ricci, where she just didn't like Tabitha's pressure. Her takedown defense against the cage looked pretty good, but she did not enjoy backing up. She's taking on Ketlen Souza. Ketlen Souza is all pressure. She throws big, heavy strikes. She'll try to mix in a takedown or two here and there. Everything she does is big. Big kicks, big punches. She'll crush you with elbows. She's always looking to do damage. She is a solid grappler when she can get it to the ground. She does rely on strength, though, instead of technique. She just sort of to the ground. Angela Hill, in this fight and every other fight that she's in, can play spoiler. She's very talented. She's got all the experience in the world. She's still pretty fast. Like, she's not the youngest person on the roster, but she's aging well. She's got a ton of experience, and as I mentioned, high fight IQ. She is smart, which is not a given in this sport. How many people have we seen go out there and just do insane things that make no sense? I still think Ketlen could win this fight. At the end of the day, I just think it's the 10-year younger, the faster, the stronger. I think that's going to make the difference. Ketlen Souza is just all nonstop pressure, and I think all that pressure is just going to back up Angela Hill, have her a little frustrated, have her against the cage. I think Ketlen Souza wins this fight. I picked her when she was plus money. Now she's dead even. Should have placed a bet, but it is what it is. What do you think, Jakey Boombalats?
Yeah, this is going to be a very easy breakdown. Is Angela's Hill activity going to overcome the bigger moments from Ketlen Souza, right? Is Angela Hill going to be able to kind of blitz this girl and almost do what she did, what Tabitha Ricci did to her, just kind of hold her against the fence and kind of use that veteran savvy? Because Ketlen Souza, too, she will walk forward, but she is not like a crazy pressure type girl. Nobody's really kind of matched her pressure except for, the person that did got knocked out. So it is always I guess knocked down and then submitted. But there was always a threat for Angela Hill. But she's such a durable girl. It just feels like she might be able to just kind of walk through the big shots, get to the clinch, get to the activity, try to threaten takedowns of her own, because we know Ketlen can be taken down in her own right. So it comes down to bigger moments versus activity. If you think that Souza's going to have the bigger moments, you take her to win. If you think Angela Hill's going to have the activity, you take her to win. It's 50-50 either way at this point. Me, I'm going with the fucking Brazilian. I like Angela Hill. She's a funny gal, good fighter, tough, durable. If she wins this, I'm not going to be crazy surprised. It's definitely going to be with the volume. But, people are like, you're biased. You fucking right I am, stupid ass. Give me the fucking Brazilian. With the fucking neck tat? God damn.
It's lips, too. There you go. Jakey Boy and I are on the same side here. It's now even money. I'm expecting her to full flip to a dog. You can see the difference between even money at a sportsbook and even money at Bet Openly. A sportsbook has to build in their profit. So they build in 10% profit on both sides. Bet Openly doesn't care. Dead even money. Dead even. Both sides of this are literally dead even.
Get a little deposit back in there, because I still have like $2,000 of your money just sitting there because you haven't bet me in forever.
Because you just took it all. I should put a deposit back in there, because there's been a couple people in the comments insisting on random shit, and I just want to be like, all right, send me a Bet Openly link, because there's just no way you actually believe this. Like, there's people insisting Kattar wins this fight. We'll get there, but just insisting. It's like, okay, all right, I'll Bet Openly the shit out of you. But we'll get there. $8,200 in DraftKings Fantasy, $8,000 in DraftKings Fantasy, essentially even. I think Ketlen's a better value, because I think if there is wrestling, which is the only thing that scores significantly well outside of knockdowns and finishes in DraftKings Fantasy, it'll be on the Ketlen side. So I think if you're going to throw one in there, it should be Ketlen Souza because of the grappling upside. If you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, if you care about DraftKings Fantasy in any capacity whatsoever, no matter how big or small, I promise you, we quite literally have the greatest DraftKings Fantasy offering on the planet, with the event simulator, the best ownership projections on the planet, the optimizer, the Slate Sleuth articles. All of that is included in everything we do. We also give you my bets, Jacob's bets, Bet Sam's bets, the round line leads, everything. WeWantPicks.com, click become. It's $10. I always say what I want to do is put together a whole thing on all the dumb shit people waste $10 on and just try to put it all in perspective. But I never do.
Is anything really a waste? Because there's always an experience attached to any moment in life.
I would say after every meal I have, I go, what a waste. Almost every single meal. What a waste. As soon as I'm full. My post-nut clarity is after a meal is when I'm like, ugh.
When's the last time you busted a nut, Angela?
Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we have the latest addition to the card. We got Jared Gordon taking on the incredibly short notice Mashrabjon Ruziboev. That name sounds familiar because he's Nurzulton's brother. And while they don't look similar in this picture, they do look similar. Like, there's other pictures and other videos of them walking. They have that same, like, shoulder-arm situation going on. Anyway, Nurzulton's brother. Jared Gordon originally was supposed to fight Caio Fernandez. I picked Caio in that fight, but let's break this down clean and fresh. We got Jared Gordon, 20-7 in his career, 2-1 in his last 5.
Howie.
Well, it doesn't matter now. Now it's bye-bye. 2-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that close loss to Nasrat Haqparast. And he's taking on Mashrabjon. That wasn't it. Ruziboev. He's 20-4 in his career. 5-0 in his last 5. He's riding a 7-fight win streak into his UFC debut. Jared Gordon, as we all know, pretty good wrestler, high volume striker. He likes to come forward. He's got some flurries, and then he'll look for a takedown. He's averaging almost. What was that? Yeah, why? Why?
You said he had some flurries.
All right. Jesus, dude. Jacob is back, in case you guys were wondering. See what you get? Okay. Yeah, wanted him back. And here he is.
Is he going to do it? Oh, wait.
There it is. What's the double get you? Oh, rainstorm. He's such a fucking nerd, dude. He's going to come forward with some activity and then shoot a takedown, try to get you to the ground. He's a tough guy. He's very busy. He's coming off that split decision loss to Nasrat. You could call that a homer decision, and that's not the first time he's kind of gotten screwed in a homer decision. You can go see that Paddy Pimblett fight as well. He's taking on, as I've mentioned, Mashrabjon Ruziboev, Nurzulton's brother. This is just a few days short notice. He does fight at welterweight. So given his size and the fact that this is short notice, I assume this is at welterweight. I built these graphics out, did this breakdown before a weight class. How did you do that so quick? Before a weight class was confirmed. If it's not at welterweight, then put your life savings on Jared Gordon because there's a 0% chance this dude could make weight in any safe fashion whatsoever. If it is at welterweight, then we'll break it down clean. Whoa, who is that? Oh, that's the Dave Portnoy lookalike.
Yeah, the Dave Portnoy.
That looks like Dave Portnoy more than me.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody else.
Dave Portnoy has literally stitched this dude.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody else.
That is okay.
Do that face. Man, there you go.
Anyway, style-wise, heavy-handed strike. Why do you have all these ready to go? Style-wise, he's a heavy-handed striker who's going to hang on outside, rush in, bomb away almost with windmill punches. He can wrestle as well. He's got some singles off the cage. He's fast. He's powerful. God. And at times aggressive. He's also sloppy and hittable, and he does have some questionable cardio.
We watched. You can't see you.
That is me, and I was good at that thing. I rode the shit out of that segue. All right. We just watched Ilya's brother put on a bit of a showcase at UFC 312. We've also seen other brothers succeed, like the Nogueira brothers, famously, the Diaz brothers. Unfortunately, Mashrabjon is not his brother. He's too sloppy. He doesn't have the cardio. He's not huge like his brother. And I think full camp Jared absolutely gets this done unless he just eats one of those massive rights. Ruziboev does have some very real power. So got to watch out for that, but Jared Gordon should absolutely get this done. Why do you have a Hooters background, and who do you think wins this fight?
What was your first experience of Hooters like? Do you remember it? You have to remember it. How old were you?
I've only been like two times to Hooters. One is crazy. One time I went with the wrestling team, and it was just kids being like.
All I asked was the first time you went, how old were you, and what was the experience like?
I was in high school. I went with the wrestling team, and it was fine. The other time was as an adult. I coached wrestling in Florida, and the other coach asked me to be in his wedding. Was it in his wedding or at the wedding? I forget which one. Maybe in. I don't remember. Maybe it was at. It was years ago. And
you always had a lot of stuff to stories that really doesn't matter.
I got a lot of people love me. I got a lot of stories. Anyway, the rehearsal dinner or the dinner before the wedding was at Hooters. So that was my second experience. Eating at Hooters in a suit.
Stuff like that. I think I just turned 16. Like we had all, like a few of my friends that just got our licenses were like, let's go to Hooters. And then when you're 16 there, it's like, and you think you're badass because you pulled up in your own fucking car too. So you're like, oh, I bet they saw me getting out of it. I bet these waitresses saw me getting out of this car. And they're like, wow. And me at 16, Angelo, I was 5'3", 90 pounds on my 16-year-old driver's license.
Like,
and I was in Hooters just like,
Beavis.
with my fucking braces on. Just like, I want the chicken breast. But those girls used to be fucking. That's why I think I saw TikTok or something that said that OnlyFans ruined the fucking waitresses in the world because all the hot waitresses just do OnlyFans now. You can't go anywhere and find a hot waitress anymore.
That's so funny. Oh,
Jared Gordon
interesting
wins.
connection. Can you explain why?
I didn't watch anything yet, so I just picked him to win because the other guy.
What do you mean you didn't watch it? You were the one texting me. Oh, just his record.
Yeah, just text his record. I mean, he's short notice, hasn't fought anybody, and he still loses sometimes. So I'll take Jared Gordon, who's a tough dude that knows how to strike and wrestle and was prepared for this fight already.
Yeah, I did the tape study, so I can trust you. All right, well, we don't have any DraftKings fantasy. Bet openly doesn't have a line on this yet. Right now, Jared Gordon's minus 255. I imagine that'll explode. Maybe not. Maybe we'll get some people betting blind. They'll see the last name. They'll see the brother. They'll see the record. They'll throw some money at it, and then we should be good. But we'll see. If that line tightens, I'll do a little action there. If it stays where it is or gets a little wider, I'll leave it alone. Ruziboev does hit like a freight train. If you do want to check out all the picks and the bets, WeWantPicks.com. If you have an iPhone, search We Want Picks in the App Store. It's 100% free. Download the app. You will get push notifications. We'll tell you instantly when we place a bet. All of that information. So if you like the bet, great. Place it yourself. If you don't, you move on. But you didn't miss the line. You didn't wait till Thursday or Friday. Oh, what'd the boys do this week? And then the value's gone. Download the app. There will be an Android app. There was an Android app. We had to pull it. The login wasn't working. We'll get that squared away at some point. But right now, App Store, search We Want Picks. I saw a comment. Where the hell did it go?
Hooters got good chicken. They used to have good, the Hooters burger used to be fucking really good.
Tiffany just said the other day, I like Hooters. This is her speaking, the buffalo sauce. I don't remember their wings.
Buffalo sauce is so fucking AIDS, dude.
Phil says, bro, Angelo, I watched the whole Fight Foods vlog. You sit super sus. That is a theme. People
you sit
do
like
love...
a 1940s French woman enjoying a picnic.
I relax in my own home. And if I had a camera on you while you were just relaxing at 11 to 12 at night watching fights, you'd be sitting a little feminine too. It's comfortable to fold your legs underneath you. It's cozy. It's a cozy room.
Folding somebody up. Holy cow. The day I saved your life.
There's Jacob shooting a takedown in the boxing only round of our fight, is what that is.
The fact, and I talked about this before, but the fact that you let me get this deep on a fucking double is insane. Wrestling your entire life. Look at your verticality right now.
We weren't. It was a boxing match.
That's how good my takedowns are. You didn't even see it coming. I mean, it was fucking...
Because it wasn't in the rules. It was against the rules to do that.
And literally, you were about to go through the front windows. That guy, the sensei in the back had to grab me. Whoa, 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 whoa. I was about to fucking drive you through the fucking windows, and it's fucking saved your life that day.
Let's run it back, and we'll run it back live.
Look at that shit. Like, you guys know what happened. Off camera. I literally drove him through the cameras and was being yelled at because I was overpowering him so much.
Let's run it back and run it back live for the people. This person says, did you see the email I sent? No. I don't have... Let's see. Did you send an email on the last? The only emails I have are 2 premium signups since the stream started and spam. So no, I do not have an unread email from you. Okay. A buffalo? Move your head.
I'm the goat.
That's a buffalo. Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we have Rafael Estevam taking on Hey Jesus.
Can you dig it? Sucker!
Okay. Rafael Estevam, high-pressure grappler. He'll throw bombs when he closes the distance. Oh, let me back up. He's undefeated in his career. He is coming off that successful UFC debut. Jesus Aguilar, 11-2 in his career, and he's coming off another ridiculous guillotine and a 3-fight win streak. Rafael Estevam, high-pressure grappler. He's going to absolutely bomb away, close the distance. He has no issues marching forward with those heavy strikes, then looking for a takedown. Takedowns are actually a little bit sloppy considering how good of a wrestler he is, and he'll use trips or drags, but he's relentless with them. He'll continue to work to get you to the ground. Once you are down, he does a really good job just softening you up and then working for a submission. He's got back control, dangerous grappler. I mentioned successful UFC debut was against Charles Johnson, who, as we all know, is very good. He had 3 takedowns and 9 minutes of control. He's taking on Jesus Aguilar. Solid grappler. He has a knack for finding the guillotine. He has 11 wins in his career. 8 of those wins are stoppages, and 5 of those wins are by guillotine. And they're not just like desperate, please don't take me down guillotines. He sets them up. He stuffs the head. He squeezes his skinny little arms in there and makes it happen. He can strike as well. Good combinations. The power seems okay. He can be a bit wild. He's very active, very fun to watch. He's coming off another guillotine win. This time was over Stuart Nickel. And essentially, Stuart Nickel was getting tagged up. So then he took a bad shot and got choked. A few weeks ago at UFC Saudi Arabia, we saw another guillotine expert in Said Nurmagomedov, and he lost. I think we see another guillotine expert take a loss here.
Have you ever smoked a black and mild?
No. I'm not a drug user. This matchup's a little different, though, because I think Estevam is going to grapple like crazy, which will only set up the guillotine, but he should be good enough. His chin should be, Estevam should be well-versed enough to not get choked. So we'll see what happens. What do you think?
You're like one of those Minecraft village people.
Because I don't smoke weed.
Oh, I'm such a square. Because you don't smoke what?
The weed?
Black and mild is just it's tobacco. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, but everybody just rips the guts out and puts the weed in it.
We're talking about smoking an actual black and mild. Honestly, they gave me headaches. I was a Swisher guy, but everyone smoked a fucking black and mild.
I have smoked cigars, if that's the question, yes. Okay, can you tell us who's going to win this fight?
Yeah, honestly, Rafael probably, I know he's going to wrestle, but if I was him, I wouldn't wrestle until you really felt like you needed it, because Jesus, I know he fucking knocked out Shannon Ross cold, but he's not really a threat with the striking. He will just kind of bomb those big shots to try to get to his own takedowns, and maybe you just wait for him to shoot the takedowns and then just kind of out-scramble him with your size in those situations. What that eliminates...
I'm shaking my head at the comments, not you.
I know, what is it? Go ahead.
Dude, like I'm the idiot. Who does that with a black and mild? That's crazy. Wrong. It's like, all right, guys, I said I don't smoke. Now I'm not the cool kid because I don't know all the weed stuff. Nerds. I guess you would call me a nerd in this situation, but I'm not a nerd. I'm a square. Very different things.
But if you wait for him to take the shot and you just kind of work off scrambles in that situation, it does 2 things, right? You can not get tired from trying to shoot and all this type of whatever, and it eliminates the guillotine, right? Because that's what you're really worried about in this fight, because Jesus, as you mentioned, has those short, little stubby arms that when he locks in the guillotine, there's no fucking room, right? If you have long arms, some people, I know this guy's got fucking jujitsu fucking tattooed across his goddamn chest, but even with that tattoo, if you get in a Jesus Aguilar fucking guillotine, you're probably not going to get out. That is how tight he fucking locks those things up. So if you just kind of wait, when the striking exchanges, force him to grapple, you can either defend, keep striking if that's where you're comfortable at, or you can work off a scramble there, because you know he can scramble, right? Because Charles was making it work in a lot of scrambling situations, and he was floating with Charles pretty well. Even though he started getting gas, he did get gas in that 3rd round, but he was able to toughen out to get that decision. So Rafael should have the wrestling advantage, should have that striking advantage, unless there's one of those Hail Mary guillotines, or maybe he rolls through for some weird knee bar or something. This should be a Rafael play all the way. I have to assume that he's cleaned up a cardio a little bit. We don't know. It's been a year and a half since he's fought, but a lot of times those are kind of wake-up calls for people, right? You think you're going to dominate everybody, and when you don't, you see what happens. He was able to work through it, and we'll see, but I'm playing Rafael.
Yeah, I'm all over him as well. I'm all over him as well, and the prize picks and underdog plays are already up.
He kind of has the eyes of Jesus.
I mean, he's telling me to do the right thing.
They're,
That's why.
you know,
That's why I won't
they're-
admit to smoking weed in front of the guy.
They're fierce yet forgiving. Like, if that makes any sense. I'm looking at Jesus Aguilar, and his eyes tell me he means business, and he's going to lay down the law. But guess what? If you just own up to it, there's going to be some forgiveness there, right?
There could be. I just have to go into the booth, tell the priest what's up. Confession's funny because you grow up in your own little world. You assume everybody does that, and now I'm in this world, and nobody hears. Nobody hears Catholic. And I was like, "You guys have confession?" They're like, what? What's confession? I was like, "You go to the booth."
How did this turn into a...
Because he said he's forgiving, and that's what confession is. Here's all the sins. Sorry, Father, for I have sinned. Here's all the horrible things I did. Then you get, all right, go give me 6 Hail Marys and an Our Father. And you're clean slate. So he has those eyes.
Andrew
93.
is a nerd and a virgin.
I have kids.
It doesn't mean anything these days.
Of course it does. And they kind of look like me. They look like me enough that you know they're mine, but not enough that they're still very pretty kids.
I'll be honest. At this point, I was hoping that they would maybe look more like you, but I would start asking questions.
I mean, they're pretty, so I don't want to. I don't want it to swing too far to one side because then they won't be pretty anymore.
Who's the best looking neighbor?
Well, the kids are older now. Bo, probably giant fucking Bo.
Well, and he was.
No, they're old. Kids are older. Anyway, $9,300 in. Oh, where I was going before you disrupted me, the takedown line on Rafael Estevam. If your sportsbook does takedown lines, and keep the app open on Friday for when those lines drop to make sure you get a push notification.
I killed it last week. I got all of them.
They were all good. You got every single one, and I grabbed a bunch too, based off your.
What was it? It was Prado over a half. Rodrigues under 4. There was another one over half. I don't think I hit the other one though.
I did it. It was Alexandre Taporia. I placed.
Oh yeah, over a half. He fucking just picked
Yeah.
it. He just fucking belly to back
He
suplexed him.
He suplexed.
Yeah,
I was like, "There's the bet."
belly to back suplex.
Yeah.
Whoa! I was like, "That's
Yeah.
a fucking takedown."
It was awesome, and that was the only takedown he took. Wei Li, I did Wei Li over a half too, and she got 1 and 1 only. So yeah, the
Which is
takedown
crazy.
props
'Cause it
last
seemed
week
like
were
she
great.
got. Those are just considered reversals, I guess.
Yeah,
Off
I was
takedown
hoping they would
attempts.
score, but they didn't. Anyway, where I'm going with this is it's a perfect combination of Rafael likes to wrestle and Jesus wants that guillotine, so I imagine he accepts the takedowns a lot. So I bet we get a lot of takedowns in this fight.
Yeah, Jesus is a guy that kind of
He loves it.
He's not gonna defend a takedown because off his back he will kind of work off a single off his back. His body's like so fucking compact that even off his back he literally just will reach down, grab your leg, and then kind of work off to a single to try and get his own single. Once even if he gets a single, sometimes he'll kind of pull guard in a weird situation as well. So
Yeah, so I'm like lazy. Friday, I'm refreshing the site constantly for that bet. I'm gonna hit it and I'll give everybody a notification. I mean, if it's at 4, forget it. If it's 2.5 or 2 or something crazy like that, I'm the over. Because Jesus is durable too. So I mean, we should get a whole bunch of takedowns out of this fight.
you know what the cops said when they pulled me, or what I told the cops. when they
Jacob's
pulled
been
me
pulled over about 16 times in the last 2 months. It's nuts.
You know what they told him?
What?
I said you got the wrong Jew.
Jesus Christ. Is that a wrong Jew reference?
Anik-
$1.09.
Anik told that on the weigh-in show. It's pretty funny.
Oh, that's right. I did hear him say that. Dude, also on the weigh-in show, you saw the whole rematches to look forward to in 2025, and somebody on...
You know what happened on that? I guarantee was
Cormier
when they
Slip
were
wrote that.
because he was looking at his emails. So I bet that person wrote that to DC like me would be writing a joke to you, like just to be funny in this email that also had like his other answers. And he just
No,
added
he
to
was
be
looking
funny.
at the card. That's
No,
why
he was
handed him
looking
the
at his
card.
phone. No, he was looking at his phone, and I guarantee it was in the email because he even said something about the email. And I bet it was like a friend-to-friend thing. But DC thought it would still be funny to say on the air, like in that moment, he saw it and was like, "Oh, this is kind of funny," and he wasn't going to call his boy out. But I guarantee that's what it was. Was like his boy wrote an extra thing in the like somebody his friend in the production team or whatever that he was not supposed to read, but he thought it'd be funny and he read it. And
It
like,
was
"Oh,
funny.
shit."
Like, that's a hilarious... It was funny. Dark, but funny. $1.99 from Hilario Saldana. Best show ever. Jesus Aguilar with the Gilly. I hope not. Thank you for the $2 super chat. $2 from Tony Begley. Do y'all smoke? I smoke all day, every day. Love it. I do not. Jacob, your turn to answer the question.
I smoke what? There's a lot of things you can smoke.
The weed. He likes the juice. Chin Cheek MMA. Seeing you have to explain everything to your real world friends during the fights is tough. Most regular people are so far out of our realm. This is coming from the Fight Foods vlog. I ended up watching the fights with my buddy Brian, who does watch fights. He would not ask a ton of questions. And then Kobe. Kobe doesn't really watch fights, so he had genuine questions. But yeah, anytime I'm not a... Like when it's me, Jacob, Bo, Casey, we're not explaining shit. Like every now and then we'll explain our opinion on a fight, but we're not like the rules or any of that stuff.
The best is when you're trying to watch the fights and there's like other people in the room. Like there's like 6 people over there, but then there's like one guy that's just sitting next to you and he's like whispering to you about the fights, but you're trying to like include yourself into the other side of the room. But this guy won't stop fucking like whispering in your ear about like, oh.
I just explained that to some people the other day. We went out and they're like, why don't you have so-and-so come watch the fights? And I was like, no, not that person. And they're like, why? I was like, because all he's going to do, and we're not talking about the same person right now. I was like, all this guy's going to do is say like, oh, this is gay. They're gay. Men sweaty. It's like, I don't want that. That's not an enjoyable experience. I don't want that. Like, no, don't come over. And then I started telling other stories about other people. $2 super chat from Tony again. Y'all must be squares. Okay. Thank you for the $2. That's almost enough to buy some weed. And this comment.
Fucking stepped on shit.
Rob Bixley. If Ange smoked weed, that candy closet would have to be expanded. I mean, that is the problem. The few times that I dabbled, I ate. Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we have the PTSD giving Valter Walker taking on DonTale Mays. Walker.
Try again.
DonTale Mays.
Back it up a little bit before that.
Valter Walker.
And right after that.
Taking on.
And right after that.
Don.
Before that.
What?
Indiana's own DonTale Mays, baby.
All right, fine. Valter Walker taking on Indiana's own DonTale Mays. Valter Walker, 12-1 in his career. What a spectacular record. And he's coming off that bounce back win over Junior Taffa. He's taking on DonTale Mays, 11-7 in his career. 2-3 in his last 5. Too late. Alternating, I just blew right through it. Alternating wins and losses. Valter Walker is a physical specimen. Valter Walker is Johnny Walker's brother. He's big. He's strong. He's physically fit. He's athletic. He's chiseled. He's fast. He's strong. He's clean. Valter Walker is a physical specimen of a man that has cardio for days. Excellent wrestling. Excellent. And that's who they told us he would be. And then he came out in his UFC debut looking like a bag of mashed potatoes, got tired after 30 seconds, and absolutely shit up the room. That whole building stunk like shit. And he lost. He lost to somebody that previously could not defend takedowns. And it was one of the most embarrassing UFC debuts we've ever seen in our entire lives. Literally the reason I try to force myself to not bet on UFC debuts. It was an embarrassing stain on his family's last name. And it's going to take a long time to get rid of that stain. He did just beat Junior Taffa. He got the takedown, but even that wasn't clean because the submission was verbal and he kind of... Junior was like, I didn't tap. And the ref's like, well, you sounded like you were going to die. So it is what it is. Valter Walker, while he is a walker and he is Brazilian, he's basically a Russian. He spent the majority of his life in Russia learning to wrestle. And that's who he was supposed to be, this big wrestler who would come, shoot his takedowns, do his thing. The first fight was an embarrassment. Seemed like he learned his lesson. He came out the second time, did get the takedown, and then worked from there. He's taking on DonTale Mays. Good boxer, heavy hands. He's got solid footwork. He can set up his combinations pretty well. Marches forward, throws everything with 100% effort, everything from leg kicks to overhands. He's not a wrestler, but he does have 7 offensive takedowns in the UFC. He's coming off that decision loss to Shamil Gaziev, where he got taken down twice, basically had no answer on the ground. And like logically, this should be a very clear, like, Valter can wrestle, DonTale can get taken down. Valter should win. Should be a very easy formula. But that was the formula in Valter's UFC debut. And he effed it up. And I promise you, DonTale Mayes is better than Valter Walker's UFC debut. DonTale Mayes' takedown defense is okay, but he hits hard. He's dangerous. Valter Walker 100% needs to get this to the ground, and he needs to get it to the ground early, and he needs to stay heavy and sloppy on top. I am going to pick Valter, but I'm not touching it. You don't need to bet every fight. The guy's minus 210. The only time we ever saw his fight go more than
225 now.
Yeah, dude. And I get it. Like, he should win this fight, but the last time we saw the fight go a little long, the guy was an exhausted disaster of a person. DonTale's not soft. He's all man, and just because he might not have the same wrestling abilities and might not be great off his back, like, what are we doing? So I'm going to pick Valter Walker, but these odds are insane. If he was an underdog, I'd consider it. More than 2-1 favorite? Never. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, he should be fine. DonTale's not a crazy, dangerous guy with his hands, and he can't be taken down. He's shown, especially in his last fight, that if he gets taken down, he gets taken down, and he'll just start the second round and try to be more aggressive, which just leads to another takedown, because when you're off balance, you're walking into shots at these heavyweight level. I mean, there was that one takedown for Shamil, I think the last one he got, he just grabbed the body lock, ran him backwards, and DonTale literally just fell backwards. Like, he literally just fucking fell backwards and then laid there the rest of the round. Valter's got good takedowns. Even if he had okay takedowns, I think they're going to work eventually. Honestly, you don't need the best takedowns, it doesn't seem, and I think he gets takedowns in the control.
The only thing I could think of that could be a problem here is Shamil has good striking and powerful hands. So that could get DonTale guessing, and he's got to worry about that. Valter's striking sucks, so DonTale doesn't have to worry about anything other than takedowns.
It doesn't matter. I don't think it's going to matter.
I'm picking Valter as well. I think
if there's a wrestling match with no punching at all, I think Valter's taking down DonTale Mayes.
Yeah. No, I get it. You think the odds are appropriate, or you think it's wide?
I think it's appropriate. I bet him.
Damn. All right. Well, if you want to check out all the picks and bets, not only from me and Jakey Boy, but Bet Sam as well. If you want to check out Autumn's picks, our picks, the artificial intelligence picks. If you want to check out the fight simulator that takes every fight on the card, simulates them over 100,000 times, and spits out the results. Everything we offer is only $10. One package, $10. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, you unlock all of it instantly for an entire month.
When you do sunflower seeds, walk me through the process here. You start with a bag of sunflower seeds. You open it up. What happens next?
I'm not a huge sunflower seed guy, but yeah, I've done it. You suck on them a little bit to get the flavor.
Well, no. I want you to walk me through the process. You have an open bag of sunflower seeds. Literally, what happens next?
Oh, you want to know if I grab them or if I go like this?
Just walk me through the process.
It's been a while, so if it's a full-size bag, I'll grab them. If it's the little shooter, I'll shoot them. And then they just suck on. But
you have like a mouthful. It's not just one at a time.
Correct. You know who? I'll let you finish this.
Yeah. So it's just a question, because if you said one at a time, it was this whole thing was fucking over.
No. They're tiny. I'll do that. So
like a cheekful.
Yeah, I don't eat them like dip. They're just all in the middle. But yeah.
Hold on. Let's back it up, because this is where I start to get a little bit worried.
Like this.
So you don't just keep a chunk in your cheek and then you pull it off one by one from your cheek. You're doing
maybe
it all
I
at
do.
once.
Maybe I do now, because you're right. I'm not chewing it like
you're swishing around like 10 at a time in the middle of your mouth at the same time.
I feel like I need some in front of me. Well, here, you want to hear something crazy?
No, because this is what you're supposed to do, is you take it, okay. And every high school golf match, varsity, all 4 years, all conference, all that type of stuff, could play in college. Every single golf match, I had either ranch or barbecue, and I would play the entire round with a big chunk, and then you take one by one into your mouth, and then you eat the seeds. Some people save up seeds on the other side. Those are the fucking pros. But just one by one, you spit it out.
Go to the next chew them like a mouthful of no shells.
So I'm just golfing. It just kind of, it's almost like a little fidget spinner for me. That's how you're supposed to do it.
Well, so I'm not a huge, sunflower guy, but the neighbor, the one that you went to school with, he's a big pistachio. He travels a lot for work, does a lot of whatever, and he's a big pistachio guy. Now I'm forgetting if
Pistachios
this,
are really big in the homosexual community.
dude. He just puts the pistachios in his mouth and chews them up with the shells and everything, and then spits the shells out. It's fucking crazy.
You know that actually
That's
Prado
nuts.
lost to a cheater because Jake Matthews eats all the peels on fruit. Like
He just
bananas
eats an orange like an apple.
literally, yeah. Which is you're not.
I mean, that's where all the
it's not-
nutrients are,
yeah, you're
but
not allowed to do that.
you can't have extra nutrients.
I didn't know
Everybody
that
knows.
until it was too late. If I would have known that, things would have been way different.
I mean, I know all the nutrients are in the peel, but I didn't know he was eating the peel.
That's what they say. All the nerves are in the foreskin.
Okay, $1.99.
Literally, that's what they say. Like if you get circumcised, you're losing like thousands of just nerve endings. That people with foreskin. Let me know in the comments in the chat if you're over 18 and have foreskin, and tell me how it is because I've heard it's great. A little bit. It can get a little dirty, I think, but
He will want a picture to confirm that you're not a liar. Jeffrey Plitas, Angie, you know what to do with the B&M Black and Mild. See, I said you gut it, then you fill it up with other stuff. Dude, these people love
you can
talking
just
about
buy fucking
rolling
blunt
papers.
skins.
Tony Begley said, "How come y'all don't smoke the ganj?" Just curious. I can only talk for myself. I don't because, dude, this next comment is gonna be so annoying. I don't like feeling. I don't.
This
like
is the
feeling,
guy that left that.
Yes, that's why it's annoying. Oh, hold on. I don't
You
like.
son of a bitch.
I like complete control. Alcohol, if I catch a nice buzz, I'm good. I'm still in control. I got a nice buzz, and then I can stop. Weed, you just don't know.
If
You just don't know.
Angelo thinks weed is like a fucking parasite that's gonna take over your mind and make you fucking just trip balls and start eating your fucking
It's not like
neighbor.
I've never done it. It's not like I've smoked.
He
I
literally
didn't like
is
the way
the
it
guy.
made
I
me feel.
mean, I think I've been there one time, and he literally is the guy that was like, "Am I high? Am I high?
I ate a gummy.
Am I high? Am I high? Am I high? Oh, am I high yet? Oh, am I high? I think I'm high. Oh, I think I had the munchies. Am I high?
No, you know what happens? I get paranoid. I'll like scratch my head like this, and I'm like, "How long was I scratching my head? Did I just scratch my head for 5 minutes? Was that weird? How long? Like it's too much." Alcohol does the opposite. You don't think about shit. You're just laughing and living life.
That's literally what weed does.
To different strokes for different folks.
You just don't let it. You try to fight it. Is what happens. You try to fight the high, literally. If you just fucking
Maybe
chill
the
out,
other thing is like I also like I don't
watch
drink.
Interstellar.
I don't drink out. I only drink at home. Like when we go to restaurants, I don't drink. It's pointless for the most part. I'll drink at home because I just want to be home and like I want to enjoy myself there. So maybe the weed is the same thing. Not filming and just able to just chill, relax, and whatever. Maybe I would enjoy it more.
We could just not be a fucking pussy.
That is an option. This dude, before I read this comment, this dude left a comment under Jacob's. So I don't want to cover Jacob. Jacob released a brand new video, brand new format, brand new everything. It's called like the Ultimate Quick Picks or something. They're like
The ultimate quick picks. Thanks for paying attention, you fucking goof.
ultra fast quick picks or some shit like that. So
New
there's
graphics.
brand new. Not only are there new graphics, so it's a brand new format. It's lightning fast. He just rips through the card, 15 minutes or less, the whole fight card. Brand new graphics, and it's a new way of breaking it down where he goes keys to victory for each person. Then he has an animation that goes boom. This person gets, and clearly somebody who does my own videos and has to chop it up and do shit like that, I can very quickly see, damn, that's a lot of effort. He had to make every single one of these graphics, had to make the animation, had to put it together. He had to type out all these keys to victory, had to think about it differently. It's a different format video. Jacob put that out. 3rd week in a row, he did this super quick thing. Now he's like leaning into it like, oh, I think it's working, whatever. This fucking weirdo comments, Jacob clearly lost all passion for this and he's checked out mentally. Like something like that. It was insane. And now he's sending $5. Jacob is the 2nd most charismatic MMA YouTuber after Guru. You're seriously a talented guy. Also, Angelo looked like Barney the dinosaur. So it's like, fine, I don't say what you want about me. It just made no sense. And I think he's doubling. Yeah, and I think he's back in it.
I think he's a great guy.
Yeah, I think he's running it back because the replies were overwhelmingly like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? Other than a few like, look at the week sucks. But that's just people hating to hate. So the cluelessness drove me nuts. I appreciate the $5. You son of a bitch. Because then I went in there and defended you, and people were like, he's riding for his boy. It's like, yeah, man, fuck. Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we got Vince Morales taking on Elijah Smith. Vince Morales, 16-8 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that close loss to Taylor Lapilus in his UFC return. He's taking on Elijah Smith, 7-1 in his career, 5-0 in his last 5. He's making his UFC debut. Vince Morales, decent striker, okay boxing. He makes up for any of those technical gaps just with straight up forward pressure and volume. He's always moving. He's always working something. He's got legit power in his hands, but he does tend to go to it pretty often, right? He's chasing power, and then he'll fizz it out if he doesn't find the finish. He was cut from the UFC in 2022. Then he racked up 5 wins in the regional scene, earned his way back into the UFC, did fight Taylor Lapilus, did some digging, fought like a dog, ultimately wasn't able to get it done. He's taking on Elijah Smith, a good grappler, nice little prospect, decent striking, his hands are fast, he's got solid power, takedowns are also very fast. He does a great job covering distance, and if he gets a takedown on top, he's got good control. Even if somebody works up, he's usually bang, a shot right behind it, right to the leg, trying to get it back to the ground. He's got good cardio, decent power, and a good prospect. Before I do my pick here, I did this in the quick picks. Nice little interactive trick question here. What happened when Vince Morales was cut in 2002? 22.
When I got circumcised, the doctor slipped and took 3 inches off. At least that's what I'm blaming it on.
So what happened is he racked up 5 wins, 4 by finish. So in the UFC, didn't have a ton of success. Goes to the regional scene, runs through people. Youssef Zalal, his first run in the UFC, was probably rushed a little bit. Not a ton of success, gets cut, goes to the regional scene, runs through people. And the reason I'm putting it out there is a difference between even fringe UFC fighters and regional people. And anytime we're breaking somebody down like an Elijah Smith.
It's like Brian Scalabrine.
Who the hell's that?
Whoa. I've let a lot of fucking shit slide. I'll be goddamned. A lot of fucking shit slide. But to insult
Who the hell's
Redhead
Brian
Jesus,
Scalabrine?
the White Mamba,
Is that the dude on the Eagles? No.
to not know Brian Scalabrine, one of the most famous quotes of all time was somebody was trying to trash talk him about how he like sucks or whatever. And he said, I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me, bitch.
That is a great quote. And when we break down somebody like Elijah Smith, we can only go off of what we've seen. This guy has only fought 8 times. The analogy I kept using in the recap video last week was MMA is the only sport where you are a professional athlete and you've only done your job a handful of times. Elijah Smith is a professional fighter, and he has only ever gone to work as a professional fighter 8 times. 8 times. And that's all we have to go off of when we break down these fights is the 8 times this guy went to work. It's not baseball, basketball. It's not another sport where they have 52 games, 120, whatever. It's
Who's got 52 games?
There's 152 for baseball. I fucked it up. My bad.
162.
Yeah, well, they took 10 games off to speed up the season. Anyway, so it's always tricky breaking down a young prospect. All you can go off of is what you've seen up until that point in time. And Vince Morales may blow right through him because Vince Morales is a tough guy, and we watched him smoke regional people just last year. Or maybe Elijah Wood actually is that good. I am going to slightly lean Elijah Wood. I am not going to bet on this fight. I'm just going to watch and see. And we're going to learn a lot about both of these men. The reason I'm going to slightly pick Elijah is I do think the nonstop wrestling will be helpful. I think Vince might chase some power. Elijah can get a takedown. If Vince works back up, Elijah will have a single, go back to the ground. And I think that'll slow Vince down because I've seen Vince slow down before. That's the only reason I'm going to pick Elijah, but he wouldn't be the first UFC debut that's a bust. He wouldn't be the first young up-and-comer that hit a bump in the road when he fought a gritty veteran. So can't bet this. These odds are absurd. I'm just going to watch and enjoy. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, last week I sat here and I told you guys Rong Zhu was going to smoke. What's his name? Colby Steele. Colby Steele definitely showed some toughness in that fight. But I sat there and I said, listen, I don't know what this guy does well. He's not a a great boxer. He is I think his takedowns are overrated. And if he can't get those takedowns, he's not going to win the fight. And then here we are again. I don't know what Elijah Smith does really well. He was a good high school wrestler. That shit doesn't work when you get to these guys that have been doing this MMA wrestling shit for a long time. Vince Morales at Syndicate MMA training with the likes of fucking Muin and fucking Nazim and Marab is there and all. I mean, he gets high level looks. The high school wrestling isn't going to work. So is he going to be able to strike with Vince? He's got decent striking, but again, he's been doing that for like 3 years because that's all he's really been fighting. He started learning. He was a wrestler that wanted to start doing MMA. He started learning striking. Yeah, I think he is going to be a prospect. I think he does have the chops and the abilities, athleticism, and be a good fighter eventually. I think this is a little bit too much too soon. Vince is a very capable striker. I picked the plus 3.5 against Taylor Lopoulos because I said, listen, he is going to come on at some point and he will get the takedowns. It took until the third round, but he started getting the takedowns. So this whole thing of like slowing down, if anybody's going to slow down, it's going to be Elijah. You saw that in his last fight. I know it was short notice, but there wasn't a whole lot happening in those first couple rounds, and he was working through it, and he toughed it out, and he ended up getting that win, getting his contract. But Elijah Smith, he can be a long striker, but he's not great at it. He can be a wrestler, but he's not great at it. He can do jiu-jitsu, but he's not great at it. I think he gets in a situation where he tries to force the wrestling, and if you try to force the wrestling against a guy like Vince Morales, this high-level, in my opinion, grappler, not really a wrestler, but a grappler, and he can do some stuff, and you start slowing down and you get desperate, I played Vince Morales. You can't fucking get this anymore, but it opened plus 1,300 for a submission. I would not be surprised in the slightest if this gets in the second or third round because Vince is not an easy guy to put out. This isn't some guy that's coming back that's got a bunch of finished losses. He's losing some good people, and he's back, and this is a great fight for him. I think Elijah starts getting desperate with the wrestling, and there's going to be a submission chance there for Vince. I got it for plus 1,300. I think it's plus 500 now because people start realizing what's going on, but I like Vince in this matchup. I just don't think there's anything that Elijah just does really, really well that Vince can't handle, and I think the experience takes over.
Yeah, listen, I had all the same. I went back and forth, and ultimately I was like, I am going to pick the prospect, but I'm just not going to bet this fight. So I'm not betting it. But I was struggling.
That I saw my deep dive research that I do was, I think it was like 7 weeks ago. It was like middle or late December. At Syndicate MMA, he was awarded, I think, team captain. Like, they voted him. It was like a unanimous decision for Vince Morales to be like the team of Syndicate, which there's a lot of fucking really good fighters at Syndicate. But when he accepted the award, he was like hobbling, and he mentioned his back. Like, his back was hurting. That was like 7 weeks ago. And it's like, I don't know if that was just like a day injury, or it didn't look like he had any training gear on. I tried to go through some pictures to see if I could see if he was training and stuff. I don't want to start any rumors. I'm sure he's fine. But, 7 weeks he's like hobbling with a back. It's like, okay, well, that's not the greatest thing to hear about, but I'm still going to ride with Vince here.
Yeah, listen, I went back and forth on this, and certainly if I'm playing DraftKings Fantasy, I like his 7,100 more than the 9,100 on the other side because he is a dog. Like, okay, he lost to Taylor Lopoulos. Taylor Lopoulos is good.
Really good. Yeah. Elijah Smith is not going to have the counter striking, the striking of it, Taylor, and I don't think he's going to have the takedown defense, even if Vince wants to try to have his own offensive wrestling. I mean, I guarantee he's been training with just as good wrestlers as Elijah Smith every day. So,
if you want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, everything else that we offer, the brand new event simulator, the artificial intelligence, literally everything that we do.
Mike Hunt is wet for Angelo.
It's only $10 for an entire month. We have no weird tiers. You don't sign up and then try to get upsold something else. It's not like, well, you got the bets for $10. If you want to add no add-ons, no tiers, no bullshit, $10 for a month. If you want to pay for a year, you get a discount. It's $100. You want to pay for a lifetime, it's $300 forever. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. A couple super chatterooskies. The next Lennon, Jacob, back with the girl. I saw the Frenchie again. Dude, these people are fucking deep diving your life. Holy shit. You don't have to answer that if you don't want to. Thank you for the $1.99. Tony Begley, do you know MMA experts or Mayor Media Network guys? I only
AJ's
know
a fucking piece of shit.
I know AJ. We've talked on the phone many times. I like AJ. Jacob doesn't because he ripped off Jacob's lock of the week for a period of time there. Like identical. Like same shit. It was an underdog, same edit style, like same everything. So Jacob doesn't like him. I've talked to him on the phone a few times. I like the kid. He was in a world loaded with haters, and I can only speak from my experience with him. Like, a lot of people hated us when Jakey Boy and I showed up. We were new. We fucking grew immediately. Like, just we figured out how to like monetize things.
I'm Angelo. We won.
That's not what it was
And I
like.
was like, yo, it's your boy Jay. We smooth with it over here. Yeah, we're smooth with it over here. And today.
Anyway, we got a lot of hate from not you guys, from the other people in this space. And we put out an olive branch. We're like, hey, we're building something here. If you guys want to come over and make a couple of bucks, I reached out to everybody. They all said no. Now, Artem, let's put it this way. Artem said yes. I'm not talking about Artem's finances, but I guarantee he himself, when you use his premium code, he's doing better than all the people that were here before us. AJ's the only person I talked to consistently that was like normal and supportive and like not a weird hater, just like a normal dude. So I personally like the kid, but he didn't take my content. He took Jacob's. And I don't know any of those other people. Wolf $, $5. Angelo, you and Jacob are the greatest YouTuber ever lived. Thanks for all your hard work. Wow, damn, Wolf. Appreciate it. Shit. In a world full of negativity, you get Wolf. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you.
I think he had dark hands. That's my African brother.
Could be. There was a whole lot of Angelo not getting invited to the cookout when I didn't know something. I forget what it was. It was something I didn't know. Was it when I did the Doug? No, not the Dougie. What dance did you have me do?
The gritty?
I forget. There was something where it's like, all right.
I don't think you ever were invited. Yeah, I think that was just like, I think they were in like a holding pattern of like, let's wait and see a little bit.
I did
like,
something.
Yeah, we're not sending that invite out.
I did something and it was like, he's too white. It's like, all right, dude, relax. Whatever. I think it was the gritty when I did the gritty. The people were like, that's how you gritty. It's like, well, how would I know? Why? What is my life that I would know how to gritty? Anyway. Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we have Julia Avila taking on Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Julia Avila, 9-3 in her career, 3-2 in her last 5. She's looking for her first win since 2021. Taking on Jacqueline Cavalcanti, 8-1 in her career, 5-0 in her last 5. She's on a nice little 6-fight win streak. Julia Avila might be a new name to you. If you haven't been watching fights as long as we have, then you're going to be like, who is the Raging Panda? Well, Julia Avila is a heavy-handed brawler. She's aggressive, both on the feet and on the ground. She's just going to be bombing away. She is a BJJ black belt. If she gets on top, she's pounding away. She's not even looking for submissions. She will absolutely slug it out on the feet. She'll not even attempt to wrestle. She's coming back after another very long layoff. This is not her first. And a loss to Miesha Tate in 2023 where she really just had no answer for the wrestling. She's taking on Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Long striker, uses footwork and feints to manage range. She does a good job working your legs early, trying to slow you down, then working up to the head. She keeps her striking technical, but when she finds a rhythm and she works forward and she pressures, then she'll work in an occasional takedown. When she's moving forward, she can be effective. She doesn't really back up as well, which might be an issue in this matchup. She's definitely a striker. She won't shy away from cage control or trips. She's coming off that win over Nora Cornole, where she did get away with a couple of fence grabs, but her 1-2 looked really good. And sometimes the sport just zips right past you. It just passes you by. You're home, your hairs are graying, you're living your life, and the sport's just getting better. The fighters are getting younger.
Why is Angelo always trying to talk about sitting on the toilet and having all the doo-doo come out all at once?
Dude, what the fuck? Never talked about any of that. Ever. Anyway, I think with Julia's long, repeated layoffs, I think the sport has passed her by. She is very tough, but at a certain point, you're going to slow down. At a certain point, you're just not going to have that same durability, that same cardio, that same forward push, like the same. You're not going to have any of that. And I think the 10-year younger, bigger, faster, stronger Jacqueline Cavalcanti will make up for a few skill gaps. Julia's going to be the better grappler, things like that, just with her own pressure, her own durability. I think Jacqueline gets it done. The odds probably appropriate, but they're starting to widen up a bit. What do you think, Jakey boy?
You said you like poopy poop at night.
Now they're just being weird. Makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm obviously going to go Jacqueline here, but, I bet her, and I think it should be a safe bet. But I do worry a little bit because Julie is kind of a wild fucking, what is it, Raging Panda? That's her fucking nickname? That's a very,
What? Jesus.
a very... What's that word I'm looking for? It makes sense. What's that word I'm looking for? Very, it's like a one word and one hitter quitter. Like, it makes sense that it's her nickname, but what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's appropriate, maybe, I think is what I'm looking for. It's a very appropriate.
That's what you ask him if he smokes again. Where's that dude?
It's a very an appropriate nickname for her because she is going to get a little bit
the
wild.
word was appropriate that you were looking for. What a simple word. I thought this was like some complex. Jesus. All right. Welcome back.
Appropriate nickname because she is she will just kind of storm forward with some wild striking, and in most worlds, that style versus a girl like Jacqueline Cavalcanti who wants to counter strike and has those really nice. Her step back uppercut, she fucking just sticks that on people. And if she does it on Julie, I wouldn't be surprised if she's able to get a knockdown. It's going to come down to the footwork of Cavalcanti. Circle out from the pressure, land those shots. Do not get stuck against the fence because if this girl Julia gets on top of you, she is a black belt, and that's not where you want to be on the ground. Do not turn this into a jiu-jitsu match at all. Defend those takedowns. Be there with the footwork, uppercuts, deter, jab, keep the distance. Point your way. Eventually, she's going to get aggressive and walk into that uppercut, and you should be able to hurt her. So, should be a Jacqueline play, but I'll be damned if I'm not worried about just the pure aggression of Julia. Like, if she just storms forward and just grabs Jacqueline while they're both fresh and just takes her down and controls her for 4 minutes, I think it's a situation where we're all going to be sitting here like, oh, God. Because Jacqueline is a minus 500 favorite coming off back-to-back split decision wins. She's not smoking people. She is 2 judges away from being 0-2 in her last 2. Now she's minus 500, minus 600 almost. So I played her. She should win, but I think there's a little bit of cause for concern.
Yeah, I get it. I think a lot of my confidence and other people's confidence is just coming from the extended layoffs, the age difference, like all of those things. It's very, hey, look what happened to Mike Davis after a 1.5 year layoff. Came out pulling guard.
Paint fumes.
I'm on the Cavalcanti side, $9,500 in DraftKings Fantasy. That I may avoid. I don't think she's going to finish Julia. Julia Vieira is tough as shit, so I don't think she's going to get finished there. And I don't think Jacqueline's going to be the one aggressively looking to grapple, so we're not going to get a whole bunch of takedown points or control time. So I think Jacqueline wins the fight, but she might only score 80 points in a win. So I'm not going to touch her in DraftKings Fantasy. If you want to shoot a Hail Mary, or if you're using the brand new event simulator and you want to adjust your exposure to Julia, go ahead and do that. So she'll be in a few of your lineups. The event simulator, brand new tool. It's in premium membership. We didn't touch
Angelo,
your price.
I heard you have a stinky feet fetish.
Dude, this dude is just spamming nonsense to try to get
You
or
in
me to
fact
react to
did
it.
say, and I quote, audience, if you're watching this on the toilet, get ready because when you hear what I'm about to say, it's all about to come out.
I am
not so quick to deny now.
Well, because he said, he made it sound like I was talking about me shitting. I'm talking about you people shitting because you watch my videos in the toilet. It's a different conversation.
You fantasize about our audience watching you while they're on the toilet?
I'm just a realist.
You know, Angelo used to tell me, and this kind of goes back to my original rant about him sexually fantasizing about me and wanting me to change genders for his fantasies, is he used to tell me that and you can deny this if you want, but you would watch my Lock of the Week videos in the shower.
Oh, you know what's funny? Probably.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. You guys get it now?
I watch. When
you
I
guys
shower.
Get it now? I'm not fucking joking about any of this stuff. He waits specifically till he gets in the shower to watch my Lock of the Week videos.
I watch YouTube in the shower. I would put on whatever, so I just have something to listen to.
Yeah, just whatever. Hey, he calls me after. Hey, just got out of the shower and watched your video. Great
FaceTimes.
job.
He FaceTimes
Great
during
job.
the video.
Great job. Then he gets a blow dry out and blow dries his fucking nutsack.
I do blow dry my body. That I'll die on
my
that
body.
hill.
You specifically.
It's everywhere.
Sit there and blow dry. How much hair could there be, Angelo?
There's no hair. I'm bald. Anyway, all right, this is a conversation for another day, but I do live by
You're
the
like the
blow dry.
guy in Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay at the bottomless party. You remember that guy?
I don't.
You don't remember that guy?
I only saw that.
That
one
image
once.
should be ingrained into every adolescent child's fucking mind when that movie came out. He fucking is like the Middle Eastern guy, and it's fucking just hair just fucking like all the way like dripping down to his knees because he gets out of the hot tub at the bottomless party and just fucking like a beehive of hair.
I haven't seen that.
That's
in
you
so
sitting
long.
there blow drying your fucking nutsack.
Also, it's legit not crazy. Like it's not like. Why would it be crazy? You get out of the shower, you dry with the towel, and then you get a blow dryer to make sure.
How can a towel not be enough? I dry with the towel, I'm good.
We had the conversation about the blood flow. Like, it's massive. They don't. I would have to use a beach towel, and everybody knows beach towels aren't very absorbent, so I use the blow dryer. Okay. Couple of super chats. Oh, these aren't super chats, just comments I pinned. Picky Boys Gaming. What about those two MMA dudes that retired? He's talking about Fight Night Picks, the two Canadian. They were literal brothers. They are what sort of inspired this. It was COVID. Jakey Boy and I were watching fights, and I did some research. I found their channels.
They're out marching for Trudeau.
I was like, I could do that. So then I said, Jacob, we could do this. Let's do it. So we did it. And then Angelo, can I buy your socks? Young LA sent us socks. I have Young LA socks. Go get them, youngla.com.
He wants to buy your worn socks. What would you price him at? Why not?
Before or after a walk? Because today, Tiff,
nobody's gonna buy socks that aren't worn. If you're buying worn socks, you want fucking worn socks. There was a guy on Kill Tony that literally like collects celebrity socks, and Fluffy gave him his sock. Fluffy was a guest, really good. Yeah. Fluffy was great.
He is funny.
That was the first time he's ever done it.
I was say you don't like his stand-up, but he's funny.
Yeah, it just kind of, I don't know. I think it's just too G for me, honestly. I like fucking dark, crazy shit. So give me some fucking Ed Norton or from fucking, I guess not Ed Norton, but what's his fucking name? He was just on Kill Tony this week.
The super dry British guy. Oh.
No, Jim Norton.
Jim,
Norton.
Jim.
Jim Norton's fucking.
He had a UFC show for a while. Him and Matt Serra. I don't know if they still do that show. Oh, well.
Ed Norton's the actor, right?
Yes. If you want $50, we'll send you $50. It's affiliate marketing. Go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Use the link to sign up with any one of the sportsbook partners. Make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you. Very straightforward. You use the link. They're going to pay us. We slice off some of that money and give it right back to you. Very simple. Very straightforward. WeWantPicks.com/bets. You can unlock the Fight Simulator with premium membership. I talked about this before, but it is literally building winning lineups. The very first week we released it, it built an optimal lineup. Last week, we immediately get a message. I used it for the first time, only using a couple small contests, and they shared all the tickets. I made $700-something. All that is shared in the beginning of this video if you want to check out the ticket. The Fight Simulator takes fights, uses historical information, implied probability, and a whole bunch of other factors, and then it simulates the fights 100,000 times. And then it takes those results, and you can use it to build DraftKings fantasy lineups, place bets, do whatever the hell you want. Fight Simulator is included in everything that we do. Safety Parlay is also included before you throw a hissy fit that it lost last week. Nobody was more mad than me. And you can go ahead and watch the vlog to see my live reaction watching that crumble. But the reality is, this is a very volatile sport to bet on. And to hit 11 of the last 14 safety parlays at a 43% ROI is absolutely spectacular. Even if one random French dude didn't do shit. I like my analogy
today talking about MMA compared to other sports. Like there's so much variable involved. Like I know there's variables in any sport, football, there's anything. You're relying on 11 people at the same time to do their job, and if one person doesn't, it can fuck everything up. And betting that definitely is hard, and it seems like it's easier one-on-one. But it feels like if you were betting on football, and I said this analogy today in text, it feels like betting on football, but at any moment, if the other team hits a 60-yard field goal, they automatically win the game. Like, that's how sometimes just one punch, like out of nowhere, you could have a fucking minus 500 favorite, and all of a sudden, Giuseppe was not a huge favorite, but he got also just clipped with that head kick, and then it was like he never fucking recovered after that. It was like he was like just frozen in there. It's like there's just so much. It's but that's why we fucking love it, man. I love it.
I literally always say this is why it's our favorite sport, and then I always say it's a very volatile sport to bet on, and people are like, no, it's not. Tennis is. People insist tennis is hard as fuck to bet on. All right, maybe it is.
Isn't that like the most bet? People I feel like everybody does well betting tennis. Anybody in our Discord that was talking about tennis bets were always winning tennis bets.
I have no clue. I've never bet on it.
Unless you're just all so 50-50, I guess, because how good can you really be at tennis? You know, what I mean? You just hitting a fucking ball over a goddamn net. You just fucking, you either can or you can't.
I have no clue, but that's also another one-on-one sport, which is obviously quite difficult. You have a bad day. If you're having a bad day.
That's why golf is the toughest sport in the world, because
it's
competing
you versus
against
everybody. I've heard this argument.
Well, you're competing against 100 other people, and you're competing against a fucking golf course. You're fucking competing against a fucking court as well. It's like fucking, it's crazy.
You know where I had this argument
Imagine
with
if the
somebody?
basketball goal was just moving all over the place while you're competing against other people. You got to also fucking compete against this fucking, what's coming next. There's elements outside. It's crazy.
I had that argument years ago with somebody when I said Cael Sanderson is one of the greatest American athletes of all time. I forget what his record was. Actually, Kobe, that was in the media room for the vlog, he has his record. He said Cael Sanderson's record out of nowhere. And I said, oh, yeah, you're from fucking Iowa. And so he just has that memorized. But he was like 255 and 0, 155 and 0, some of that. Never lost a wrestling match in high school, college, won the Olympics. Like the dude.
Must be pretty easy.
Dude never looked like a human being, ever. And I was arguing with my buddy who's a big golfer, and he's like, golf's the hardest. I was like, it is not harder than this. He's like, golf is harder, and did the whole thing.
If it was that hard, he wouldn't be undefeated. Or you wouldn't be undefeated if it was that hard.
Nobody else has ever done it. He's the best.
Well, nobody's ever been fucking undefeated in golf. You can't fucking, you lose all the time. You lose against the course. You lose against other people. If it was that easy to be that dominant, literally nobody, it sounds like wrestling is the most easy sport because one guy figured out how to beat everybody. It's when you can't beat everybody. That's when it's a tough sport, you dumbass.
Sure. Unlock Premium. It's all our stuff and other people. WeWantPicks.com. Watch the vlog for two things. One, fun, entertaining, different type of content. And two, if you want to see how I really feel when the safety parlay busts, I almost told the editor, like, hey, chop this up pretty good. Like, I'm pretty aggressive in this.
Why does Angelo head look like if you put helium in a pillow?
I actually have a tiny head, but whatever. And if you do want to send something to be open on the vlog, here's the address. We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas, 75078.
Angelo talks about Dookie a lot when he's solo. He's got some weird fetishes.
Dude, stop reading this dude and the fake Bet Sam's comments. All they're doing is spamming random bullshit. That's it. It's just spamming random bullshit, hoping to get your attention.
Angelo's a little
and the
fruity,
autism
bro.
in you, and the autism in you won't let it slide. Just ignore it. They're going to cross the line and get banned anyway. Just let it go, for Christ's sake. Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we got Rodolfo Vieira taking on Andre Petroski. Rodolfo Vieira, 10-2, 3-2 in his last 5. He is on a 2-fight win streak, taking on Andre Petroski, 12-3, 3-2 in his last 5 as well, riding his own 2-fight win streak. This is grappler versus grappler, but very different grapplers. Rodolfo Vieira's
Angelo poops his little poo-poo pants and pees his little pee-pee pants and lays in bed at night in a pool of his own poo-poo and pee-pee.
You're making this up. That's not even a comment.
And his own poo-poo.
You're just
and
making
pee-pee,
this up. All right, shut up.
And then wakes up.
Can I finish? Thank you so much. Anyway, Rodolfo Vieira, freak athlete, big, strong, powerful guy who's incredible at BJJ. World level BJJ guy. More than one international title. He's very explosive. He's got good takedown attempts. His takedowns aren't great, but when he tries, they're fast and they're there. His technique is solid on the ground. Getting it to the ground, as I mentioned, a little tricky. You would assume his striking sucks, but it's actually not terrible. He's got decent striking, can be buttoned up a bit. He's coming off that submission win over Armin Petrosian, where he had to get 3 takedowns to get it done. Andre Petroski is a very good wrestler. He's got very good takedowns. His stand-up is just okay, but he just bombs power shots to set up the wrestling. When he does shoot his takedowns, they're fast, they're clean. He also has good BJJ. He's coming off that wrestle heavy win over Dylan Budka, where he had 3 takedowns, 10 minutes of control time. And listen, battle of the grapplers, very different grapplers. Rodolfo Vieira is mostly jiu-jitsu. Andre Petroski is mostly wrestling. And I fully understand that The general consensus is Andre Petroski's washed. Andre Petroski knocked himself out shooting into somebody else's leg for no reason whatsoever.
Do you know? It just reminded me. Do you know what the finish is on what it's listed on?
I forget.
It's like soccer kick into something. It's fucking, hold on. Okay, just a second. He got finished. It just says soccer kick to the body, TKO, but just seeing soccer kick is so funny.
That's what it says when he knocked himself out?
Yeah, because he went like, and then he got fucking Jacob Malkoun fucking literally soccer kicked him right in the fucking ribs.
Well, I get the narrative. I totally get the narrative on Andre Petroski. But the reality is he is a good wrestler. He is aggressive. He's got some skills. Rodolfo Vieira's got very good jiu-jitsu, but jiu-jitsu off your back and jiu-jitsu on top are very different things. And I think if Andre wrestles, he can win this fight. I would suffice to say I think he should wrestle. Because I think Andre can get the takedowns, use the good old-fashioned American wrestling, sit on top, a couple elbows in the face, some control, and Rodolfo's going to start to realize this isn't working. Remember when Andre Muniz was a killer and then Brendan Allen just took his ass down and wailed on him? I feel like this could be the same thing.
Paul Craig did that as the lock of the week.
Fine. Paul Craig did it first, then Brendan Allen. Or Brendan Allen did it first, then Paul Craig.
Paul Craig was the lock of the week, and that was also a break. I had lost 4 in a row, and I picked Paul Craig, and everyone was like, oh, no. But he won. He dominated.
And here's a comment that's just incorrect. Grappling will cancel out, become a kickboxing match. How would it cancel out? Rodolfo Vieira is not going to be able to stop Andre's takedowns if Andre wants to take it down. So, no, it will not cancel it out. The only time it cancels itself out is they're both good wrestlers. Only one of these guys is a good wrestler.
You're stupid.
I think Andre can get it done. With that being said, his striking is atrocious.
Angel is breaking down this fight like a fat girl reading me poetry.
His striking is atrocious. He could end up in a little bit of trouble, but I think Andre Petroski can win this fight the exact same way he just beat Dylan Budka, the exact same way he just beat whatever the hell his name was. The only thing that really concerns me here is that Petroski is having 2 wins in a row and might start to feel himself a little bit. I don't want him striking. I actually want him grappling. Everybody's like shocked. Take down the crazy BJJ guy. Dude, have you seen Rodolfo Vieira off his back? How's he doing? How's he doing off his back? It's a different world. It is an absolute different world. Go ahead, Jacob. Tell me why you're picking Vieira.
I'm picking Rodolfo because I think this is a perfect matchup for him. He has good takedowns anyway, but the way Andre throws strikes, he just loads up everything. It's going to be an easy level change, and once he gets this guy onto the ground, I know that Andre is a proud wrestler, a proud grappler, right? I could be misquoting him, but I think he said something about being able to submit pretty much anybody, or he likes the grappling or something. He's a very proud guy. And those guys, and Andre, isn't going to just be safe. I don't think he's going to be safe on the ground. And if you're not safe and you're scrambling up and you expose anything against Rodolfo and he gets on your back, I think it's going to be game over. So I think Andre comes in, does what he does, throw a big overhand right, level change, take him down, work on the ground 2 or 3 minutes. Eventually, Andre's going to make a mistake. If it doesn't happen in the first round, he's going to get controlled. He's going to come out second round pissed off, throw a big overhand right, level change, taken down again. I know that Andre can wrestle, but Rodolfo's got pretty good offensive takedowns, and he's not going to be able. In my opinion, he's not going to need to force him. If Andre tries to shoot, I think that especially early on, Rodolfo's going to be so strong with those scrambles, the sweeps, all that kind of tricky stuff that he's been doing his entire life. And Andre, isn't new to the wrestling, but still, a little bit green to the grappling in comparison to a guy like Rodolfo. So I think this is a tailor-made matchup for Rodolfo, unless he gets too balls to the wall early like we've seen happen and he starts gassing. Even Andre against, in his last fight against fucking Dylan Budka was not, he was just fucking laying and praying. There was no fucking advance to anything, right? And if you just try and lay and pray Rodolfo, I think he's going to have some stuff ready with some sweeps, even if he's getting taken down. So,
okay. I think I don't disagree with everything you're saying. I get it. Rodolfo Vieira is actually a decent striker. When he fought Chris Curtis, his striking looked pretty good. Well, let's see how long Jacob can hold this shit there. I give it's 9:15. By 9:18, this idiot's moving. Rodolfo Vieira, can definitely win this fight. I get it. I'm going to pick Petroski anyway. And also, Jacob just texted me. What the hell does this say? Why are you texting me, dude? Send tit pic. Please. No. Anyway, I'm picking Petroski. Jacob's not. You can unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, and everything else at WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 for an entire month. Tit pic, please. Dude, stop. Stop with the text. We're going to move on. Unlock all the things now. $6.99 from Carter Harrington. And it says, Angelo's my favorite. I'm glad Jacob's back, but he's not as funny or as cool as Angelo. And there is a black hands emoji there. So I think I'm back at the cookout. Thank you very much for the $6.99. Let's go ahead and move on to the next fight. Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we have Edmen Shahbazyan taking on Dylan Budka. Edmen Shahbazyan, 13-5 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5 alternating wins and losses, taking on Dylan Budka, 7-4 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5 as well, looking for his first UFC win. This is striker versus grappler. Edmen Shahbazyan is a very good striker. He's a well-rounded guy, impressive kicks. He does get taken down a ton, though, because when he throws the kicks, when he throws the strikes, he plants heavy. And he plants those feet, bombs away, and that leaves him open. And the problem is when he is taken down, he doesn't really have good enough scramble skills to get back up or to threaten a submission. He's got solid offensive wrestling, though, with more than 2 takedowns per fight. Oh, you made it to 7. No, you didn't make it. I said 9-18. It's 9-17.
I know. My neck was hurting.
He's got solid offensive wrestling, though, when he shoots takedowns, and he's averaging about 2 per fight. He's coming off that submission loss to Jared Mearshart. We was dominating that fight, but then got taken down, and it was all over from there. Taking on Dylan Budka. Dylan Budka, solid grappler. He's got big takedowns. He was a Division I wrestler. The broadcast last fight kept talking about his Olympic dreams, which, I mean, I think we all...
Say what?
That's what they were talking about last time when he fought Petroski.
I think you've all had fucking... I wanted to be a fucking astronaut,
that's what I said.
too.
Yeah,
I mean, Jesus Christ.
That's literally what I said in the quick picks. Like, well...
And it turns out there wasn't a fucking cup big enough for my fucking spacesuit when I went to spacesuit school.
Spacesuit school? Yeah. That was the problem. That the brain I was having, my brain went crazy when I was like, what could I lie about Jacob texting me right now? I just ended up with tit pic.
Yeah,
but my brain, I was
ready
bad.
I was ready for anything.
I know, and my brain wouldn't.
Yeah, you know, some people are slow.
You just said spacesuit school.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, he had Olympic dreams. Ultimately, it didn't pan out for him, but Dylan Budka was a Division I wrestler. He will come forward. He will shoot takedowns. He will try to get the thing to the ground. Now, and if it gets to the ground, he's going to work for positions. He will take his time. He's not rushed. He will look for a submission instead of just TKOing. Striking's not great, but he'll stand there like a man and bomb away. He'll charge forward, let the hands fly. He is coming off that loss to Petroski where he missed weight, but he didn't seem off, if you will, despite looking pretty terrible on that scale. And I understand Dylan Budka is winless in the UFC.
Isn't it Dylon?
No, that's a Dylan. I've seen Dylan's. That's a Dylan.
It looks like
That's a Dylan.
If I was him, I would go by Dylon.
That might help the line, honestly. Because I think what's happening here is the last name's Budka. So people just, this guy just jumping to conclusions. The reality is, remember we went back in time?
Anything?
I think people literally just see the name like Budka. That guy sucks. Budka. People do that, man.
Budka is close to Butkiss, and Dick Butkiss is a fucking legend. So,
but it's not Butkiss, is it?
You ever watch Kicking and Screaming?
I have.
That's one of the most underrated fucking movies. It is so fucking funny.
It is absolutely hilarious.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Anyway, back to this. Remember when we went back in time and we talked about Valter Walker versus DonTale Mays? We just said 1 + 1 = 2. Valter can shoot takedowns. DonTale can be taken
Pass
down.
the
Valter
ball
should
to the
win.
Italians.
And I think Dylan Budka is a similar situation. 1 + 1 = 2. Edmen can be taken down. Dylan can shoot takedowns. I'm going to go ahead and pick Dylan. Am I going to bet on him? Probably not, but these odds are getting crazier and crazier. Edmen Shahbazyan will be light years ahead in the striking. Won't even be remotely
Edmen Shahbazyan.
light years ahead in the striking. But he can't really defend takedowns, and if he is taken down, kind of clueless. So I'm just going to go slight edge to the guy that can control where the fight goes. But if Dylan gets lit up on the feet, then no surprise there either. The line is wild. These odds are wild. Somebody saw Edmen Shahbazyan, who can't defend takedowns, at -300 and said, let me put a little on that. And then move the line even farther. I'm going to go with the wrestler. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, somebody said, Angie boy, can you please make a hippo vocalization for us?
Hippos don't make noise, do they?
Gotta give it a try.
I know they open their mouths all big, and I think it's like, I don't know. I don't think they make noise. Who asked that question? Oh, here it is. What's with the fat stuff? How often do you order burger bowls from Wawa? I mean, what is happening? Okay, Jacob, who do you think wins this fight?
Yeah, anybody betting, listen, I get it, right? Edmen is the better striker here, and we've seen Dylan struggle in fights before. I mean, he came in before his Contender Series fight, I guess the first fight versus Cesar Almeida, and he's like tweeting like the new face of the UFC and stuff like this, and then he comes in, wrestles for 5 minutes, not even like a high-paced wrestling, fucking gas, and he just out of there, laid flat on his back the entire time for Petroski, offered nothing off his back, but at the same time, Edmen Shahbazyan is basically just the new Darren Till. Very high-level striker, right? But if you get in his face, you take him to the ground, it doesn't look like Edmen's ever going to figure out how to defend takedowns. I mean, like Darren Till, like you're best friends with Chimaev and you're training, he had no idea. He still has no idea. It's unbelievable that he just has no idea, and it seems like it's the same way with Edmen. If you want to take him down, you're going to take him down. This fight, to me, is like the Jimmy Crute Bellato fight. I think that they're both, is what it is. This definitely is the lowest caliber fighter that Edmen has fought in a long time, right? Because he is losing, but he's losing some pretty good people. But at the moment, as more of a value play, more than I actually think they're going to win, I'm going with Dylan here. I think the takedowns are going to be there, just whether he gets tired or not, or gets caught on the way in. Even in that win against AJ Dobson. I mean, he was rocked in that one. And I'm not saying that Dylan is like this power puncher, and he's not really even that much of a finisher on the ground either, but I think he can just kind of grind on Edmen for a couple rounds, and we'll see if Edmen gets tired or not being grinded on. Are you a top or a bottom? Have we ever discussed this?
Okay. $9,200 in DraftKings Fantasy. I will be fading that. Obviously, Edmen could get a finish here. He is a very good striker, but Dylan is kind of tough, and he grinds, and he'll shoot his takedowns, and he'll try to make something work. So, not going to spend the $9,200 on Edmen. $7,000 on Dylan. You're going to need some exposure to that if you're building multiple DraftKings Fantasy lineups. Have a little bit of exposure to Dylan. I would adjust the exposure on the Fight Simulator, brand new tool. You can unlock that now. Everything else we do, just download the app. Go to the App Store, search We Want Picks, download the app, or go to WeWantPicks.com. Unlock premium membership there. It's $10 for an entire month. That month will include UFC 313. That is included in your month. You sign up today, you get 3 cool events, and then your 4th event, which is included, bang, the Alex Pajeda fight card. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Couple super chatterooskies. $1.99 from Kobe Bryant's green stool stuck in rectum. Jesus. Angelo, do shirtless stream. Also, why Guru 40 extra views? Because the dude has 300,000 followers. That is why. And no, not doing a shirtless stream. Carter Harrington.
Do you think, this is a serious question, do you think that you will ever be shirtless in public again for the rest of your life?
100% yes. I go swimming all the time.
Oh, God.
Oh, Oh, God. Carter Harrington, 14 Canadian. Chin up, Jakey boy. Love you both. Become a premium member today. Best value in this space. Thank you, Carter. And then...
Are you related to Al Harrington? Al Harrington's one of my favorite patients of all time. He came in, 18-year-old kid, and really helped us out.
It's his nephew. Listen, we've got a lot of commenters, a lot of subscribers. We do anywhere from 4 to 500,000 views a month, depending on the month, the quality of the event.
Angie, baby, take your shirt off and hit a double bicep for these fools. Show them what a real man looks like.
Some people are smarter than others. Some of these guys get it. And I've always said that Tim Edmen gets it. And he said, Angelo's like 6'4" and built. I'm 6'3", not 6'4". Appreciate that extra inch. And I am built. So Tim gets it. And I appreciate Tim. And I've always said.
We're getting back into it.
Tim's one of the best.
We're getting back into it. Look at that tricep popping, man. We're getting back into it, man.
I'm going to sneak into your apartment and then draw lines on the wall for your height. So that you can take one of these pictures and it'll just show 5'6.5". Right there. Bang.
I mean, we've just proven it so many times before in the past, but you can think what you want to think. If it's the only thing you have is a lie that I'm short, which is weird. I don't know.
And your teeth are fake, so I got two things.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. I'm 6'3", 260, 6'4", 290, 6'3", 260. Thank you so much. Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we got Connor Matthews taking on Jose Delgado. Connor Matthews, what are you doing? Connor Matthews, 7-2 in his career.
You talking to me?
Yeah. 3-2 in his last 5.
What the fuck are you talking about? I'm just on my phone.
KO lost to Dennis Bazooka, taking on Jose Delgado. 8-1 in his career, 5-0 in his last 5. He is making his UFC debut. And this is going to go ahead and be a pretty fun matchup because Jose Delgado, dude, yo. Dude, look at that. Dude.
Crunk ain't dead, motherfucker.
Dude, oh
Crunk
my.
ain't dead, motherfucker.
Dude. Oh my God. That shirt's only a medium.
Crunk ain't dead, motherfucker.
All right. Jose Delgado. He is parlaying some short notice success in the Contender Series into his UFC debut here. Style-wise, rangy striker, likes to use his kicks to stay on the outside. If he comes in, he fights well inside the pocket. And he's got that Mike Tyson style, like enter the pocket, bob, weave, just bah, rah, 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 and then rip. Again, I'm going to clarify, just like I did in the quick picks. I didn't say he's like Mike Tyson. I didn't say he's as good as. I just said he's got that same super tight type style when he comes in.
You said who is Mike Tyson?
I said Jose Delgado has that same enter the pocket, super high tight, and like big, huge bob and weaves. And congratulations. You're the same size as a 145-pounder.
I'm taller than Youssef. Go look up his height.
When he comes in, he enters that pocket, he'll bomb away. He's got good upper body movement. He can grapple as well. Solid takedowns on the ground. Solid takedowns, then on the ground, he's looking to ground and pound. Overall, well-rounded kid. All finish wins. So that's always a little bit of a flag there. Taking on Connor Matthews, a volume striker who moves forward. He throws everything he can, but he also receives everything he can. His striking differential is not great, and he gets hit a ton. You're going to see 5 of 7 wins are by submission. You're going to assume he's a jiu-jitsu nerd. He's not. A lot of those submissions are just snatched up in scrambles. He's a durable guy for the most part, sets an okay pace, well-rounded enough to hang. He is coming off that finish loss to Dennis Bazooka in his UFC debut. This is a fight that didn't have odds when I first broke it down. And I picked Jose. I said, I imagine Jose will be the favorite. We'll wait for the odds. And then we got the odds, and I was surprised. He's a pretty big favorite, too. 3-1, that's a bit of a stretch because, yeah, he's good. He's 8-1. He's got all finishes. But until you see somebody really in some trouble, you don't know what you're going to get. I'm going to pick Jose here. I think what we're going to get is a guy that comes forward, stays in the pocket, doesn't let Connor hit any sort of rhythm, potentially gets a takedown, grinds. I'm going with Jose. I was hoping he'd be like -120, -130, -300. Seems wide, but he does have a ton of power. He can find himself a finish, and Connor Matthews just got finished. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I like Conor Matthews. I was really high on Conor Matthews going in that Dennis Bazoukian fight. I was like, listen, this guy's a tough son of a bitch.
Who the fuck is Dennis Bazoukian?
What the fuck is his name?
Bazooka. Like the...
Doubt it. So I was really high on him going in the Dennis Bazoukian fight, and off the rip, you could tell, like, like this guy is a little bit in trouble because I thought he was going to have the striking advantage and could be able to mix in the wrestling as well, and did neither one of those things. Obviously, he landed some shots, but you could tell he was a little bit overwhelmed in the striking. Eventually, caught up with that knockout win, which I was very surprised. A tough guy like Conor Matthews, I've seen him get hit before. He seemed to handle shots pretty well, but I mean, he got sat down, he got put out, and Jose is probably twice the striker as Dennis Bazoukian. So he's going to be in trouble on the feet. He cannot stay at range. I know that you want to box. You want to show that you're not this grapple-heavy guy, but at your core, you are a grappler. You really are a grappler, and in this fight, that's where you're going to have a slight advantage. You got to make this nasty. You got to make it gritty. You got to close the distance on this guy. You got to get him against the fence, use some physicality, try to climb his back, get in those situations where you can find a submission. I think he's going to be live more. I think he's going to be more live for submission in this fight than people realize. I think people forget that he is a pretty, really, I don't say like a super high-level grappler, but he is a good grappler, especially against like Jose Delgado. But I think the striking is going to be a little bit too much, and unless Jose gets too aggressive with his own offensive wrestling, which I don't think he should use at all, and he kind of gets swept and in a bad position on the feet, Jose should be able to control this fight, and he should be able to defend the takedowns from Conor as well. So I like Conor. I respect his toughness. If he's able to pull this off, I think it's going to be by submission. I think it's like plus 1,600 or something. Worth a sprinkle to kind of hedge, I think, on the Jose side. But other than that, I think Jose should be able to handle this fight.
Yeah, I'm on that same side. I wish we were going to get better odds. Like I said, this is a fight that I broke down before there were any odds. I mean, we always take our notes and do our picks before looking at the odds, but I had no reference even after I made the pick. I said I think Jose is going to be the favorite here. I did not expect him to be a tremendous favorite, which is what we've got. But ultimately, it is what it is. We'll see if anything tightens or moves or if there's a prop that makes sense. But for now, straight picking Jose Delgado, as is Jakey Boy, $9,000 in DraftKings Fantasy. Might shoot that shot there because we did just see Conor get finished, and we may see it again. If you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, if you want to get push notifications exactly when we place a bet, you can do all of that right now. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's $10 for every single thing that we do. One package, everything we do. And not only is it $10, it always has been, it always will be. In 2024, premium membership was $10. It was the greatest value in this space. Then we added a whole nother tool. We added the fight simulator. Did we touch the price? No. So now we're in 2025. We have the exact same premium membership.
How tall is Jan Blachowicz?
Jan Blachowicz, you are not the same size as Jan Blachowicz.
Oh, I'm not. Okay.
He's leaning down. You can see him.
What are you talking about?
Look at his neck. Tell me
how tall is it? Somebody put in the chat how tall.
Look at the head sizes. He's leaning down, and you're on your tippy toes. Show your feet.
If anything, he's closer to the camera, so he looks bigger than he is.
Just show the picture of you and I in the cage. That's all.
What are you talking about?
From Peak Fighting.
Yeah, you're tall. I never said you're not tall.
Well, but you're saying you're 6 feet, and I'm not 7 feet. Okay. And the only reason I had that idea is somebody commented it.
What?
The Peak Fighting picture. Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we have the featured fight of the evening. Ismael Bonfim taking on Nazim Sadykhov. Ismael Bonfim, 20-4 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off the bounce-back win over Vince Pichel. Taking on Nazim Sadykhov. Nazim Sadykhov, 9-1 in his career, 4-0-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that draw with Vyacheslav Borshev in 2023. This is a pretty fun breakdown and a pretty fun fight. We got Ismael Bonfim. And yes, a couple fights ago, he got a little bit of a fraud checked. He has bounced back since then. He beat from hell Vince Pichel, and he seems to be back on track. He's exactly like his brother who he broke down earlier. He's got some power in his hands. He moves forward. He's got good technical boxing, although it doesn't look like that in his fights because lots of looping power shots instead of just straight right up the middle. He can work in some jiu-jitsu as well, some flying knees. He gets creative. He's far more aggressive between the two. He takes his chances, but he can be accurate. He can be powerful. and he can have solid defense if he takes his time. His actual boxing experience is pretty high level, as is the BJJ. And I mentioned he's coming off that decision win over Vince Pichel, where he effectively doubled the strikes. He's taking on Nazim Sadykhov. Nazim Sadykhov is a solid kickboxer with speed and power, but he's not reckless. He takes his time. He finds his opening. He plots forward. He counter strikes and strikes at the same time while moving forward. While he is patient, he can occasionally work in unnecessary spin attacks, and that actually led to his only ever professional loss. He's coming off that draw with Vaishlov, where he was losing early, a few well-timed takedowns, and a knockdown. Made those scorecards pretty interesting. This is a good matchup. Should be a really fun fight to watch, and I love that the UFC put this together. I love that they're not just giving Ismael an easy win, and I love that Nazim, actually, I wish Nazim would get a couple easier fights. He's really only had some tough fights up until this point, but this should be a really, really fun fight. But before I give you the pick, let's look at Nazim's wins. He is very good, don't get me wrong, but he was losing to Evan Elder. And then Elvin Elder, as lock of the week, who was winning that fight, got a cut in his head, and the ref stopped the fight just because.
Never seen that before in my life. Evan Elder, lock of the week, up 2-0, coasting, doing everything I said he would. Little cut above the eyebrow. Typically in the middle of a round, especially in the third round, when somebody's like obviously winning, you kind of just let that go unless it gets even worse. The second that fucking cut happened, they stopped the fight to let the doctor look at it. The doctor's like, oh my God, look at this, so much blood. And they fucking stopped the fight. But do you know who Nazim is best friends with now?
Who?
Evan Elder. They're boys now. They train together. That's a good dude to train with. I love Evan Elder, man. That's a tough son of a bitch.
Meanwhile, they let Irene Aldana fight with half her face hanging off. But so there was that fight. There's that win on paper, TKO win, but it was a cut in a fight that he was losing 2 full rounds. Then he goes ahead, he fights Terrence McKinney. He was losing that fight too, and then Terrence did what he does. And then he was losing to Vaishlov before he ended up taking over. And obviously those are real wins. And Nazim is not a quitter, and if he was a quitter, he would have lost those fights. But because he's tough and because he doesn't stop, he won all 3 of those fights. All 3 fights that he was losing and was able to turn the tide. The only reason I mention all of that is this is a very fine.
But he should have won. I mean,
that
guy was fucking.
Yeah, he was dumb.
If you watch that knock, because he wobbles him, then he knocks him down. Dude, Slava was just like this, frozen, eyes like this, not responding to fucking the follow-up shots, but the ref hadn't gotten there in time. By the time the ref got in there, he hit him in the face like 7 times, where Slava like halfway woke up and like just started grabbing him, and the ref was like, oh, he's fine. Dude, he was like stiff like this with his eyes like fucking wide open, and fucking Nazim, it's fucking stupid. He should have got the finish, but.
I agree. And I think I bet on Vaishlov there, so I was happy with the push, but it is what it is. This is just such a tricky fight to break down because this could look exactly like the Terrence McKinney fight or any of them, where Ismael has a lot of early success and then Nazim is durable, takes over, and wins. I am going to pick Ismael. And the only reason I'm going to pick him is because of that Vince Pichel fight. We saw a more controlled. We saw straight punches instead of throwing baseballs. We saw a guy who kept the pressure, kept the pace. The cardio didn't die on him. He fought a guy, yes, older in Vince, but Vince is a cardio machine. I think that was a great win for Ismael. He showed that he can fight long. He showed that he can fight controlled. And he's going to need that here because I think if you pressure Nazim and you stay in his face and you're busy, the exact same way Evan Elder was, you can back him up and you could have some success. So I think Ismael Bonfim wins this fight, but another fight with some interesting odds. What do you think, Jakey? Boy.
Yeah, I think Ismael is a little bit overrated in what he does. And what he does, I think, matches well with what Nazim wants to do, because Nazim is, I mean, every time I see him, this guy is improving, because I think a lot of people, you included, I can't remember how I broke it down, thought him walking into a fight versus Slava. I mean, Slava, we just saw was a favorite against Tom Nolan in his hometown because he is such a high-level striker that people were like, it's just going to be a little bit too much for Nazim. He was getting touched up a little bit, obviously by Evan Elder. Terrence was able to control him, but there were situations in that fight as well. He's going to come in Slava. He's not going to have enough. And he looked fucking really good in the striking. I know he dropped the first round striking, but from the progression that we saw from the Evan Elder fight to that Slava fight in the striking is like, doesn't even look like the same person. Nice higher guard, was slipping shots. A lot of those shots that Slava was landing, and visually it looks like he was, and I'm not saying he didn't win those rounds because he did. He was out striking Nazim. But a lot of it's just landing on the guard. He was trying to work the body, but Nazim is a tough son of a bitch. Good cardio. Ismael, in my opinion, is going to get caught up in the game of, oh, I'm hitting him. Let me hang out in the pocket. And when Ismael throws these strikes in the pocket, he is not a technical guy. He comes in and he will lead with a big body shot, and his arms are out here, and he's trying to land shots around the guard because he trusts his power and he wants to land the big shots. And when you're out here and somebody's covering up and you think you're landing and you're not, and all of a sudden one of those big shots come with the counters, I think on the feet this matches up well with a guy like Nazim. That high guard is going to treat him well. Ismael is already a high confidence guy. He's going to be landing on the guard thinking, oh, I'm fucking lighting this guy up. The big counter shot's going to be there. And even if what Nazim wants to rely on the wrestling, I think he can wrestle this guy for 3 rounds and just outwork him in that right as well. I don't think Ismael's going to be able to get the takedowns and the control that we saw with the Terrence McKinney, right? Kind of controlled the entire first round. But even when he was controlled, right? He stalled. He's staying safe. He's not getting choked out. Eventually, at the end of that round, he bought his time, reversed the position, was landing elbows to end the first round. So I like Nazim here, the Black Wolf. Oh, to get it done. Feel pretty good about it too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. I picked Bonfim, but I fully recognize how good Nazim is. So
I mean, he looked slick, and so I mean, he was fucking throwing some nice, clean combinations that I don't think anybody saw coming, because that was not the same fighter as Evan Elder. And I have a track record of usually when I pick against you for lock of the week, I always pick against you because I think that you just kind of suck forever. Nazim is not that dude. He is improving. He's one of those guys. Vince Morales, I mean, Marab, there's a lot of good. He's at Syndicate. We just saw a few weeks ago, Muin is at Syndicate. And you saw him come in and just looking fucking fantastic. Sharp as shit. Marab was looking sharp as shit. There's a lot of good stuff going on at Syndicate, and I think Nazim shows even a next level of where his game is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's not a hill I'm going to die on picking the Bonfim. I know you picked against both Bonfims. So, right. And last time they both fought on a card together, said parlay them. And that parlay hit. This time, could have the anti-Bonfim parlay. They're both favorites, so that would be quite the payday.
Nazim, here's what I'll say.
Yeah, wait till you take a huge fucking mouthful of ice.
There's one ice cube. Let's relax. Nazim looked better in a loss to Slava, in my opinion, than Ismael looked in a win versus 40-year-old Vince Pichel.
Say that again?
Nazim, even though he lost the fight, I guess it was a draw, but he lost 2 rounds. He should have got the finish, honestly. It should have been a finish. Nazim looked better in that draw with improvements that he's made against Slava more than Ismael looked good against a 40-year-old Vince Pichel. I know he won the fight. It was 30-27.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know, because Ismael didn't look bad at all in that fight. Nazim did look bad early against Vaishlov, and then he turned it on.
He never looked
He was losing. He was getting touched up.
That's the whole point. He still looks better with the combinations, the way he's throwing strikes, than just fighting a 40-year-old Vince Pichel.
I'm not going to agree with that statement.
I just don't think you understand.
I understand what you're saying. I disagree
don't.
with the statement. I get it. I disagree. $8,400 in DraftKings Fantasy for Ismael. I actually don't know what to do with that, because I think this goes to a decision. I think it's some solid back and forth. They both have some success. I think it's a close fight. I don't think it's a blowout on either side. I just love that I saw Ismael controlled, because that controlled, that pace, that guy can do well here. But that guy also doesn't score really well in DraftKings Fantasy. So I don't know what to do here. I might just leave it up to the DraftKings Optimizer or the Fight Simulator, see what that tells me to do, and then go from there. If you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, the bets from 4 different people, 3 people and a robot, actually. If you want to see all of the tools, all the picks, and the picks are from 4 people and a robot. The round line leads, everything we have to offer. It's $10 for all of it in one package. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. You unlock it for an entire month. That month will include UFC 313. We have a $27.99 Canadian.
Carter Harrington says, no relation to Al Harrington, unfortunately. Just a white dude from Nova Scotia. Shout out to the Slippery Noodle In Indy, if you know, you know. Slippery Noodle, get this off my fucking screen.
What the hell is a slippery noodle?
Slippery Noodle, Angelo, is a little kinky spot there on the south side that if you're a single male after 11 o'clock, it gets pretty slippery, as they say. That's a jazz bar on the south side. It's right on South Street, just south of, what do you even call that place? Gamebridge now? It's just a jazz bar is all it was. You know, actually.
That's a wild name for a jazz bar.
I had to do I was like in a music fucking elective class or something, and I had to like go to a live performance and like write a report on something. You had to like go watch live music, and I actually went to the Slippery Noodle just to sit there with my girlfriend, have a drink, and listen to some jazz. It's cool. It's one of those old, cities have those old bars or whatever. It's just part of the culture of Indianapolis, and not a bad place to be. Like tight little corridors, and
yeah. There's this bar we go to in New York when I have to go for work. I think it's called the Black Duck or something like that. It's the oldest bar in the country. And it's tiny and old as fuck, and it's like downstairs, like underground.
You don't think the Native Americans had anything like that?
They didn't have a bar. No
no
bar. No bar.
I think they had a hookah bar. They're peace pipes.
Hookah is not Native American. You're just kind of mixing up.
Would you have felt comfortable being one of those people that gave the Native American smallpox blankets?
No, I'm a good dude. I always do right. I'm a big karma guy. Where it's just, I try to do the right thing. Although, I have been watching Beast Games on Amazon with the family. Great. That show is incredible. And there was... I don't want to ruin it for you because it is still.
And you're saying
airing.
That place that you're talking about was a Turkish bath?
And so I'm watching Beast Games, and there's a situation where there's 4 people up there, and they were offered $1 million. The prize to win the show is $5 million. These 4 people, and they have a team of, I don't know, let's say 50 behind them, were offered $1 million. And if you accepted the $1 million, that is your money to keep, and you still stay in the game. And the only thing that happens is your team gets eliminated, and nobody took it. And it's just like, what the fuck?
$1 million these days isn't enough.
The max prize in the show.
If that was 1995, everyone's taking a fucking $1 million. But now, I've had this conversation with you. I think is like one of the worst things that could ever happen. Not ever happen in your life, but it would be awful to win $1 million in the lottery because you can't fucking retire. So now you got to work knowing that there's
and you have $1 million.
Yeah, there's a fucking $1 million, and you still got to go to work.
So Trap says Angela would have taken it in seconds. Yes, I would have. It's a competition show that only one person can win, and you're there to win.
Yeah, anything's fair. There's no karma in fucking competition. I don't give a fuck about anything.
Dude,
fuck
the worst part is 2 things.
That's like it's like when you're watching a fighter and they knock their mouthpiece out and they're like, "Oh, go ahead and pick up your mouthpiece."
Yeah, it's a fist fight.
I don't give a fuck about that. Punch him in the soccer kick him. What the fuck are we doing here?
So nobody took the $1 million, which was crazy because, first of all, it's $1 million guaranteed and you still stay in the game. It also instantly improves your odds of winning the show because now 50 people are gone. So now you're in a better situation than you were just in. It's a competition show. These people don't know each other, right? Some people know each other, but they're like, I would never do that to my team. You know these people for 11 minutes. And somebody offered you $1 million.
Like Big Brother when they're there for 2 weeks and they're crying about somebody. It's like,
crazy.
What are you doing, man?
Dude, it's crazy.
If me and Angelo on Big Brother, I'm backstabbing Angelo. I don't give a fuck. Obviously, we're going to try to work together. We know each other. But if it push comes to shove, then I got to save myself. I'm not going to be crying and being like, oh, I got Angelo done. It's like fucking, hopefully I win it. Maybe I give you some, Big Ange. Sorry, buddy. See you later.
It's funny because I said to Tiffany while we were watching, I was like, Big Brother people would run through this show. What is this fake loyalty? This is crazy. You don't know these people. Then the very next competition was like, get with your closest friends. And then they all got shoved in a box. And there was 3 people in every box. And one person had to be eliminated. There's 3 of you. One of you, you have 5 hours to decide who loses this show and the 2 that get to stay. We don't care how you agree, but it has to be a unanimous decision. You don't vote. It's unanimous, all 3 of you. One of the dudes who sacrificed the $1 million for everybody ended up getting eliminated. His team that karma didn't come around. It's like, you dumb it. And they asked him, this was actually a phenomenal line. And he say, the line was phenomenal. Mr. Beast was, and I hate calling it the 20-year-old Mister. Jimmy goes, do you regret not taking the $1 million? And this is a great line.
He's the one that turned into a girl?
No, he hired the person who turned into a girl that was in the Discord asking for things. Jimmy goes, do you regret not taking $1 million? And this guy goes, I liked myself as a person and my life before the million, and I like it now. And it's like, all right, great line. But of course you regret.
Hey, you fucking idiots. $1 million, you're getting $500,000, right? And then if you want to, somebody's like, just throw it in the S&P. What money are you going to live off of, right? And then when you're taking that out yearly, you got to pay taxes on the earnings for that as well. You're not going to make, what are you making a year on the S&P? 10% of that? And then you got to pay taxes on the 10% that you make off the $500K. What are we doing here? Let's grow up. It's not enough to live off of. Yeah, you can have some fun for a while, but you're not going to be able to fucking retire and live for the next 50 years on $1 million. Grow up.
I mean, maybe in Kentucky, middle of nowhere.
No, not anymore.
$50,000
Even
house.
those houses. I'm looking at houses in Indiana that are fucking still $350,000 for fucking nothing.
Yeah. Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Kattar taking on Youssef Zalal. Kattar, 23-8 in his career, 1-4 in his last 5. He is on an unfortunate 3-fight losing skid. He's taking on Youssef Zalal, 16-5 in his career, 5-0 in his last 5 on an 8-fight win streak. Kattar's been around for a while. He's a clean, accurate boxer. You will see some stoppages on his record, but that's not just raw power. That's clean speed, proper technique. His hands are where they're supposed to be. He's got good timing, but not raw power. His hands are always exactly where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to do. He's got good footwork, good angles. His boxing is very, very, very good. Takedown defense is listed at 72%, but I promise you, him and everybody at his former fight camp, New England Cartel, struggled defending takedowns. He is coming off that wrestle-heavy loss at UFC 300, where he gave up 8 takedowns. And you're going to say, well, he's not at New England Cartel anymore. He's at Firas Zahabi's gym. Okay, great. That didn't help him in his last fight, did it? And he gave up 8 takedowns there. Taking on Youssef Zalal. In 2024, Youssef Zalal was an absolute buzzsaw. He ran through everybody, blew through every single person he fought, was getting takedowns, getting submissions, and all of a sudden he went from a guy that was cut in 2021, I believe, or no, 2023 he was cut. And then he was sort of a distant striker, was patient. He was almost like what Faraz was. Then he gets cut, goes on the regional scene, earns his way back in, and all of a sudden, he's a phenomenal, aggressive grappler. He comes forward, gets a takedown, immediately snatching up submissions. Youssef Zalal has looked absolutely spectacular. His striking defense is incredible. He only is hit with 1.71 significant strikes per minute. And considering he's been to 6 decisions, that's an amazing number. This 2.0 version of Youssef Zalal is somebody that we absolutely need to keep an eye on. And we definitely have 2 fighters on 2 completely different trajectories. Kattar has won 1 fight in the last 5 or 6 years. He's clearly on the decline. Youssef Zalal, clearly on the upswing. Parlayed a cut from the UFC into something incredibly meaningful. I think this new style that Youssef Zalal has, like instead of the technical distance striking, the come forward, aggressive wrestling and grappling, I think that new style matters quite a bit here. I think that the Kattar and everybody that was at New England Cartel, I get it, he's not there anymore, struggles with takedowns, Youssef's going to take him down. I think it's just literally that simple. And sometimes you just have to read the momentum in the room. So I think Youssef Zalal wins. Hopefully when he does, he gives Jacob a shout out on the microphone, but instead of we pick him, it's we want picks. Youssef Zalal is the pick. The odds make a ton of sense to me. What do you think, Jakey boy?
It's a day one right here. It's a day one. And I'm loving everyone jumping on the Youssef bandwagon these days because he absolutely fucking deserves it. As you mentioned, worked his way back. That is my boy. 3 straight UFC wins by finish. 6 straight finish wins is absolutely insane. I was his day one His first fight back against Billy Q, Angelo sat here and said that Youssef Zalal's a fucking bum, that he sucks, that he doesn't belong anywhere even near a gymnasium, let alone the UFC. And I said, no, Angelo. I said, no. That's my dog. I was at the fight, and I walked up to him, and I said, welcome home, baby. And after the fight, he came up and dapped me up as well because he dominated exactly the way that I said he would in spectacular fashion. And the same thing, he's scurrying away. There's me and my boy Zalal. I like Zalal. He is my dude. This is a biased pick, but at the same time, he should be able to do enough to win this fight. Now, do not be surprised if this round is closer than you guys think it's going to be, because Youssef is a guy that will take his time. He's backing up. He's a very, very tough guy to hit because he's constantly moving left and right. He's waiting to make those reads. He doesn't force anything. So don't expect, if you guys haven't watched Youssef and you see all these finishes, right, and you see he's a minus 400 favorite, don't expect him to come and just shoot like an Isaac Dolgarian blast double, try to mount this guy. He's not an aggressive fighter. He lets things come to him. He caught Billy with that knee or I think it was that knee or the uppercut, whatever it was. He's an opportunistic fighter, and the thing that has changed lately is he pounces on those opportunities. Before, he was always staying safe, and the fights were always close and competitive, but he just wasn't quite doing enough. Now, once he's making those reads, he has improved the wrestling, the grappling. If he gets a hold of you, he has good trips, takedowns, all that type of stuff. I would not be surprised if he does not finish Calvin Kattar. Obviously, Calvin Kattar is a very durable guy, and although he does get taken down, even Aljo struggled to find kind of an opportunity to get in there to find a finish. But I think there could be a finish here for Youssef. He should be able to get the takedowns, but I just don't want people to start freaking out even if he drops the first round randomly, just kind of making those reads on the outside. Eventually, he'll get to it. He has a different mentality these days. He is going to threaten for the belt. It is my dude. I saw him in Tampa as well. By the way, because I already showed that picture of me and him at Tampa with the belt, I made sure he did not fucking touch that belt. It's a fucking jinx to touch the belt before you win it. So I picked it up and I was literally like, hey, don't touch this fucking thing, Youssef, because here in a couple years, he's going to be that fucking dude again, and I can't wait. So I'm all over Youssef, obviously. That's my dude. It's biased, but he should be good enough to win for sure.
Yeah, I obviously think so, as does the line. He's a heavy favorite for a reason. And that's why comments like this make no sense. You both called people dumb for not choosing $1 million over a stranger, talking about the Mr. P stuff. But you're choosing a stranger you've met twice because of an interview. So you think we're picking Youssef Zalal only because he was on the show, when the reality is his opponent has won one fight in 5 years. He's a minus 400 favorite. He has looked absolutely amazing. Just finished 3 people in the UFC octagon alone. But yes, it's because he was on the show. And it's that kind of stupidity that you can't reason with. How am I supposed to reason with Warren Pitts? It's insane. It's insane.
Look, here's even, because they were snapping pictures, this is literally me being like, don't fucking touch it, Youssef. Let's see if it focuses. You can kind of see what's going on there.
Yeah.
Literally giving him instructions like, make sure you don't fucking touch this thing.
Yeah, and I'm only picking him because he was on the show. Not because he's a tremendous favorite, not because it's a very clear path to victory, not because his opponent is old and washed up and can't find a win to save himself. Only because he was on the show. Warren, you clown shoe muppet. If you want to be smarter than Warren, what you'll do is go to WeWantPicks.com. You'll unlock premium membership. It's only $10 for an entire month. Then you'll have access to everything. All the picks, all the bets, the tools. You want to do your own research? Bang, we got a tool for that. You can do tape study and everything. You just want to copy, paste, relax? Bang. All our picks and bets are right there. You want to see what we're doing for fantasy? Bang. All the fantasy breakdowns are right there. Everything we do, one single package, $10. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. Next up, at UFC Vegas 102, we have the main event of the evening. We have Jared Cannonier taking on Gregory Rodrigues. Jared Cannonier, 17-8 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5, riding a 2-fight skid. Taking on Gregory Rodrigues, 16-5 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's on a trace fight win streak. And this is going to be an interesting fight because while it is seemingly straightforward,
count to 5 in Italian.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's very similar to Spani. Speak Spani.
Jared Cannonier, you've been to my house where we played the Italian card game to set the mids. Anyway, Jared Cannonier, 40-year-old man. But damn, does this dude look good at 40. He's still fast. He's still powerful. He's still dangerous. He switches from southpaw to orthodox. He throws tons of kicks from both sides. He's got good grappling defense. He has a phenomenal resume. Only a few takedowns. He's only averaging 0.42 per 15 minutes, but he does have 5 takedowns in his last 3 fights. Seems to be evolving. He's coming off that decision loss to Kyle Barala where he was basically outstruck the entire time and then almost finished. He's taking on Gregory Rodrigues, Robo Cop. Well-rounded guy, striking power, BJJ black belt. And even though he has that BJJ black belt and he is more than capable of getting fights to the ground, he's really just using the wrestling for takedown defense and the jiu-jitsu for defense. And he's keeping fights on their feet and he's slugging it out. He's a big guy. He's got power, strength. He's a threat absolutely everywhere. But he is coming off that decision win over Christian Leroy Duncan where he said in interviews, I think I'm going to go back to my grappling roots. And then he did. He had 4 takedowns and 8 minutes of control. And Gregory Rodrigues looks like he's 40 years old, but he's not. He's 31. Jared Cannonier's the 40-year-old. And when you're 40 years old in this game, doesn't matter how hard you work, doesn't matter how great a shape you're in, things are going to slow down and things are going to change. The first thing that goes is the chin. That's the very first thing that goes. And we saw a little bit of that in his last couple of fights. Nasruddinov was able to get him in a lot of trouble. We watched Kyle Barala get him in a lot of trouble. Then you start to have trouble with the cardio. That doesn't last as long. What? Okay, I don't know why I had to wait for you to sneeze. Anyway.
Not even Mr. Catholic. Yeah.
Sorry, bless you. my bad. Gesundheit. Jared Cannonier, unfortunately, is not as durable as he once was. He still has all the work ethic, all the cardio, all the pressure. The Jared Cannonier that beat Marvin Vettori, that exact same performance when he fought Izzy would have won him the title. Straight up. That was one of the single greatest performances we have seen from almost anybody at middleweight. It was an unbelievable performance. But it seemed to be a one-off because quick down slope right after that. I'm going to pick Gregory Rodrigues because he somehow is younger, strong, can get the takedowns, can stay busy, stay safe. Gregory Rodrigues is going to be the pick. But I just can't ignore that Jared Cannonier versus Marvin Vettori fight and just feel like there's a flash of it in there. But Gregory's the pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
This is going to be, I think you're going to know in the first 2 minutes, 2.5, 3 minutes of this fight who's going to win this fight because it's going to come down to who's able to control the middle of the octagon. If Jared Cannonier is backing up and back against the fence, I think eventually Gregory is going to land that big shot. I know Jared is, he's a durable guy typically, but we've seen him, get hurt. Probably should have been finished. And Gregory hits just as hard as pretty much anybody in this division. Not only that, but even against the fence, if you're able to withstand the striking, Gregory wants to go to the grappling. He can get takedowns even if you're against the fence, right? I know you have good takedown defense. You can split the legs, whatever. But he can get the single, switch to the double, do all the stuff, and get a takedown if he wants to. He doesn't need you to be out in the open. So back against the fence is a bad place to be for Jared. But it's also a bad place to be for Gregory because Jared, if he's able to own the middle of the octagon and have Gregory working backwards. Gregory is a completely different fighter working backwards than he is when he's working forward. If Jared's able to get respect early with something and is able to work this guy down and use that 5-round experience, even though you're 40 years old, you should be able to have the better cardio in this fight for 5 entire rounds. Get the respect early, have him working backwards. But unfortunately, I think Gregory's going to meet him in the middle. He's going to be the one getting the respect. Jared's going to be backing up. And unless Gregory is engaging in those kind of weird clinch positions against the fence where maybe Jared's able to throw one of those big elbows, split him open, something like that, or he's able to kind of dirty box him and make it kind of an ugly fight and wear down a guy like Gregory, I got to go Gregory. The only thing that really worries me is this definitely is the best fighter that Gregory has ever fought. There's no question about that. And if he comes in, like you said, he had a game plan for Chris Leroy Duncan, and he stuck to it. That's good. Because if he was like this cocky, up-and-coming 32-year-old and thought, I'm going to smoke this old man, doesn't get it done in the first round and a half, and then you're like, oh, God, he's tired. Because if you're tired in the second round versus Jared Cannonier, you're going to be in big fucking trouble, especially if you try to start kind of desperate wrestling. You saw it with Derek Brunson with those big elbows on top. But I think Gregory's going to know, hey, 5 rounds. This is a veteran. I don't care how old he is. Let me pace myself, land the big shots. Gregory's got all the tools to win the fight. So I think unless something tragically goes wrong, Gregory should be able to win this fight.
Yeah, I'm with you. Good main event. Cool fight. Might be a little bit of a changing of the guard here, but I'm looking forward to it. Should be a ton of fun. $7,600 in DraftKings Fantasy. Again, if there's flashes of that Marvin, somebody's like, you almost got finished in that Marvin Vettori fight. Dude, 24 minutes of the 25-minute fight was spectacular. I mean, the pace he landed 200-something significant strikes. Those are Max Holloway numbers. It was nuts. And that wasn't that long ago.
Max
Why are you making
like
a face?
400 and something.
Well, okay, fine. Not Max Holloway numbers, but crazy numbers, especially for a middleweight. If there's a flash of that, then this whole thing goes out the window. But this should be a really fun fight. $7,600 in DraftKings Fantasy. Really only going to count for crazy volume or if somehow Jared finds that finish. Greg Rodriguez at $8,600 feels a little safer. I do feel like there may be a grappling upside in there. Either way, you can check out all the picks, the bets, the tools, and everything else right now at WeWantPicks.com. And then you can look at everything in the app. Just go to the iOS App Store, search We Want Picks, bang, there's the app. Download the app, 100% free. Click one button, it's on your phone. Once you have the app, you have full access to everything. Everything we do. Everything that's available on the website, on a mobile browser, on the desktop is available in the app, and then you get push notifications. Inside the app, you'll have access to the brand new Fight Simulator. What the Fight Simulator does, and this is a brand new tool that we added to premium membership, didn't add a tier, didn't do a price bump, nothing. Just invested more money in a new product and then gave it to you for everything you already had. And what the Fight Simulator does, it takes the fights, it brings in all sorts of data points like implied probability, historical grappling data, striking data, all that information, simulates the fights 100,000 times, and then uses the results. And you can use the results to build DraftKings fantasy lineups, which it's been doing quite well, place bets, or what have you. You also have full access to the data analyzer. A lot of you love to do your own research. Great, do your own research. And if you value your time, you'll use the data analyzer. You can deep dive future cards, the current card, whatever you want, drill down to the fighter, stack filters, look at all the high-level data, and then dig deep into significant strikes landed and absorbed and reversals and all the information you could ever want. The chart will update based off of your...
You ever hit that cervix?
Yes. And then the plot points on the chart represent the actual fights, and you click the dot, and then the video pops up, and you can watch the fight. It's got full tape study as well.
We can figure out real quick. One little phone call.
We're not asking my wife questions like that on air. That's insane to do. But I mean, you make your own guess. She's mean. She wouldn't stick around, right? Or maybe she'd be nicer.
Theodore Hayes with a 5 spot. I love to hate these guys. Really hate Angelo, but premium makes me money, so it's work. We appreciate that, Theodore.
Teddy. Fucking
Billy Hayes here.
Maze, dumbass.
Yeah, no shit, dumbass.
Well, you said Hayes. Line movement tracker.
Yeah, I did it to be funny, dumbass.
Yeah, that was hilarious stuff. The prop hunter.
I laughed at it, dumbass.
More than just me and Jakey boy, you're going to get all of New Zealand's MMA cappers and an artificial intelligence giving you their picks, their bets, their tools, and their breakdowns, everything at WeWantPicks.com.
Oh, Billy. That's
Just
what it looks like Sam's
number.
doing. Click backwards. Look at him.
Oh, Billy.
Fuck was that?
The wild picture, dude. Wild picture. Anyway, you want 50?
A hippo sound again?
I think that's what it is.
Now do that, but take your right hand and, itch your left shoulder, and then do it.
Why? What
no,
is this?
like the inside of your shoulder, like right here.
We're not. I don't know. I don't know what's happening right now, and I don't trust it. So we're not doing that, guys. That's the breakdown. Any last words for the people?
Nope.
All right. Good riddance. Thank you all. Long show. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, do all the things.